landlords once Tom Brady sold the building. Now, that's not the case.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. College basketball on ESPN Radio. The inaugural Dick Vitale Invitational.
He hit it! Are you serious? Wow! Can't believe it!
Texas, number 6 Duke.
We may stay here all night. In fact, the way they're playing, let's not leave. Let's have about 5 overtimes.
Coverage begins today at 8 Eastern with tip-off at 8:45 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Coach Saban here, and let me tell you, every second matters. Preparation is everything, and that's why I trust Kidde Smoke Alarms.
And as North America's #1 home fire safety brand, they're built to respond over 25% faster to smoke detection. Kidde helps protect what matters the most. Find it at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. #1 claim based on total household installations as of December 2023. 29% faster average smoke detection based on internal testing of smoldering wood fires for Kidde 9th edition versus leading competitor 8th edition products.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
I'll tell you a break.
Wichita's news sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM, KKGQ, Newton. This is the Shane Dennis Show on the new ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Hello there. Happy noontime, all. Welcome in to episode 1090, Shane Dennis Show, noon to 2 every weekday. Now that college basketball is back, got all kinds of stuff to try to wedge into 2 hours. But we'll do our best, especially with today being the NFL trade deadline. Already some stuff going on all around us as we speak. And we'll do our best to get to all of it and do our best to keep up with all of it as well. But in the meantime, set back, turn on your radio, turn it up, rip the knob off if you still have a radio with a knob, preset one, all that good stuff. And we'll inform and entertain for the next couple of hours. Jack Johnson back at the studio. We want you to be a part of it, though, too. And we got a couple different ways for you to interact with us. The first being the hotline. So if you want to call, you want to give us a phone call, you can do so at 316-669-4996. If you got comments on anything you saw last night or anything you're looking forward to tonight, or pretty much anything in between, especially the text line reserved for that. That number is 316-247-0923. We'll be using, well, we use a text line every day, but you can use a text line for more than just commenting or questioning today because we have some giveaways in my show fairly directly. So get that text line ready, 316-247-0923. We have many ways for you to listen. Chiefly, most importantly, most efficiently, our ESPN Wichita app. Download it. Take us with you wherever you go. listen wherever you are, whether you're traveling, for example, if you're outside the listening area. If you download our app, then check us out that way. You can listen live. You can listen to past shows. That's got a podcast page or option. So click on that. And the past shows of New Day with SSJ will be there. My show, Pat and the Pulse, he comes your way from 2 to 4. If you missed any part of his show, if you missed any part of the program with Seren, he's on from 4 to 6. And so you can check out anything that you missed on demand whenever it suits you. ESPN Wichita app. Same, ESPNWichita.com. You can click on Listen Live. You can click on the podcast. All the stuff I just said applies for ESPNWichita.com too. 92.3 FM on the aforementioned radio that I was talking about. You got one in your car, at home. Make us your preset one. You won't regret it, especially if you like sports. You can live stream us or we'd love for you to do both. Live stream us on X, Facebook, or our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and search ESPN Wichita, and you can see our shows when we're here at our Equity Bank Park studios, which we are today. You can check out me and the Pulse with Pat, and he'll slide in here at the end of the second hour of my show, and we'll just kind of hand you off to Pat and the Pulse, and he comes your way every day from 2 to 4, and we'll do so today. We are at our Equity Bank Park studio. It is November 4th, 308th day of the year, 57 days left in 2025. We're headed for a high today of 73 degrees. How's that? Unseasonably warm today, and it's supposed to be all week too. That pleases me. Not exactly ready for the cold weather, so I'll take this today. It's going to be a little windy here in Wichita, but 73, just fine with me. Plenty of stuff to get to. Opening night in basketball last night. Trade deadline in the NFL is today. We got an interview, and we are melding some sports together into one show. And we love you for listening, and we hope that you will stay locked in for the next couple of hours. Getting us off on the right foot is Jack Johnson, the producer, show contributor, and joke teller. Here comes our moment of levity, as we do every day. What you got, Jack?
Picked up a hitchhiker last night. He asked, "How do you know I'm not a serial killer?" And I said, "The chances of 2 serial killers in one car is astronomical."
I saw that today. Chuckled out loud. Good one. There's only one real day today, and I need some help with why. Today's National Candy Day. November 4th, National Candy Day. We were just there a week ago, but maybe that's why this country's have a problem with obesity. Who knows? What happened today? Well, Will Rogers was born, Western actor back in the day. Born day, Dixie Lee. Dixie's a female singer and actress who was the first wife of Bing Crosby. We'll be hearing some Bing Crosby music here in a couple of weeks, no doubt about it. Walter Cronkite, born day. Journalist that told us, well, not us, told some of a certain age about John F. Kennedy's assassination, among other news. Walter Cronkite, born 1916. Doris Roberts, actress in Everybody Loves Raymond, Marie. Loretta Swit from MASH, known as Hot Lips Houlihan in that show. Laura Bush, former First Lady. She's born on this day. Kathy Griffin, Ralph Macchio, Survivor's Jeff Probst, among others. Big day today. All right, here's what we're going to talk about. You got your numbers, but not the subject matter. Unless, of course, you are live streaming us on YouTube, Facebook, or X. It's got the schedule of what you're going to hear. coming up here in just a little bit from me, but it's along the crawl on our live stream. So if you lose track of what we're going to talk about, we got the text line up there, the lineup, and all that good stuff. Here is said lineup. College basketball is back. We're going to talk about that here directly. KU largely untested last night. They had a pretty consistent couple of halves against Green Bay, and the result predictable. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a second. K-State gets its opportunity tonight. Likewise, Wichita State, although we'll talk about Wichita State in hour number 2. The NFL trade deadline is bearing down on us. And right before I came on, there was some breaking news, plenty of stuff to react to. And one team that probably, when everybody was 0-0, was a dark horse to go to the Super Bowl, apparently going all in. We'll tell you who that is coming up at 12:25 with some NFL trade deadline talk. We have our Twitter question brought to you by Top Golf today. Has to do with your favorite bar food. That'll come your way at the end of hour number 1. It's up right now, so if you have a Twitter handle and you want to, if you don't follow us, you should, at ESPN Wichita. Check that out. Go vote for your favorite bar food. We'll talk about that at the end of hour number 1. And then top of hour 2, Jordan Foote, Jordan's Juicy Takes, brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu. We'll talk about the deadline with him. We'll talk about Chiefs Bills. Josh Simmons apparently is back. What does that mean? A lot of NFL talk with Jordan Foote coming up at 1 o'clock. And then at 1:25, Wichita State and UNC Asheville had to wait 24 hours, but their opener is tonight at the Roundhouse, 6:30 for the tip-off on ESPN Plus. We will take a peek at Wichita State and UNC Asheville. Shocker women opened last night. We'll tell you how they did coming up in the 1:25 segment. So we'll talk Shockers in hour 2. And I'm old Jack Young at the end of the show. We'll have Pat here by then and see what he's got going on and get you ready for the Pulse coming up from 2 to 4. Text us 316-247-0923. Candy Day is like having a leftover day 4 days after Thanksgiving. Agree. I struggle with why today is National Candy Day, but whatever. Hi, Shane. Love your show and the interviews in the Pulse. Thank you, Texter. I had a family member who worked all life on the radio and retired. I've been listening to the radio since I was very young. Same. I've always been a radio fan, mainly for sports play-by-play, but here we are now. All right. You got your topics. You got your numbers. Keep those texts coming. You'll need the text line here in hour number 1 for multiple things. Hint, it's Top Golf Twitter Tuesday. So be listening during the Twitter segment for your chance to win some stuff. Also, we are having a watch party, a movie night at Boulevard Theaters in Old Town. I will be giving away some tickets to that. So be listening up a little bit later on for that also. All right, so we start with college basketball. Kansas, game you heard right here on the channel, your home of the Jayhawks, took on Green Bay last night. It was the regular season debut of many newcomers for KU, but of course, most notably Darren Peterson. And he did what he does. Scored at an extremely efficient level at all levels. At the rim, he had 3 3-pointers. He was perfect from the free throw line, and he barely played in the second half. He did not need to because he ended up with 21 points in 22 minutes. You had a performance by Flory Bidunga that began with him making his first 9 shots. He was attempting to get in some really rare company to make at least 10 shots without a miss. Danny Manning did it. And I can't remember. I was listening to the broadcast with Brian Haney last night. He said something about Danny Manning did it. And I can't remember if he said somebody else got to 10 without a miss, but Bidunga missed his 10th, so he didn't quite get there, but 23 points and 6 rebounds for him. They played pretty much everybody that was capable of playing, including Wichita's own Will Thingvall. He got in the game, played the last 3 minutes of that one. And it was an incredibly consistent whipping of Green Bay in each half. First half was 48-27. Second half was 46-24. The final was 94-51. So it was about what you thought, or in KU's case, Norm Cook. Is that the other name I was looking for? That's what a texter said. Good memory. And thank you for the text. If that's the case, I'll take your word for it, texter. I'll trust you. How about that? But if you're a KU fan, no drama. That's what you were looking for in a tune-up game before the North Carolina game on Friday. I cannot imagine the excitement that KU fans have ahead of not only this season, but going to Chapel Hill to actually go play North Carolina in a non-neutral game and actually play in the Dean Dome against the Tar Heels coming up on Friday. We'll have that game for you, of course, right here on the channel. So be listening then for that. And then beyond that, by the way, KU Arizona and football the very next day. But the coverage with KU and North Carolina on Friday will start at 4:30 ahead of that game. But getting back to the Green Bay game, there's no drama, just like you hoped there wouldn't be. And I don't necessarily want to compare this team with last year's KU team because it's far too early to do things like that. But in your mind's eye, Jack, you're a KU guy, an inferior opponent. Last year's team do similar things to this year's team, or is there something a little more special, even though if it's only a 40-minute snapshot about the 2025-2026 KU team headed up by one of the best freshmen maybe we'll ever see?
Well, you obviously have to be careful early on in the season and falling in love with what your team does against inferior opponents. Because if we were to pull a podcast episode from, 365 days ago, right before, KU took on whoever they took on in their first game of the year, I would have said there's an abundance of scores on this team, and they're going to be able to put up 85-90 on whoever they want. They've got Hunter Dickinson and give them 20 and 10. Rylan Griffin can shoot it. KJ Adams and DeJuan Harris are going to be able to be those experienced guys that do exactly what this offense needs them to. And you got David Coit off the bench who can shoot it 40% clip from three. Zeke Mayo is going to be your best three-point shooter. I mean, that's why you have to be careful, because sometimes teams will peak early on in the season. And I would say that, you can't always count on that to happen again. You can't always count on your team to look that good in March. You can't always count on that team to look as good in February. And where I am with this team is the best part about it is they are night and day different, just roster construction wise, than last year's team. They are in no way similar to last year's team. They're not going to shoot the three ball as well as last year's team did. They're not going to have a Zeke Mayo. They're not going to have a post presence like Hunter Dickinson in terms of 20 and 10 every single night. But what I can tell you is that they have maybe the best scorer they've ever had at KU. I believe Darren Peterson has that type of ceiling. What I worry about is this cramp issue he's been dealing with. I actually forgot about that. Paulo Banchero dealt with the same thing at Duke, where, he'd go give you 20 really good minutes early on in the season, and then he would struggle to play in the second half because he kept cramping. But the fact that Darren Peterson can give you 21 in 21 minutes is pretty absurd to think about. Competition is certainly got to be taken into account here. Green Bay's awful. They are not well coached by Doug Gottlieb because he's not a traditional college basketball coach. So beating them by 40 is what you're supposed to do. But I can't wait to see what this team looks like on Friday and what Darren Peterson's going to look like against great competition in a hectic environment. I mean, the Dean Dome's going to be packed wall to wall. It's a blue blood matchup. It's awesome. But the way this Kansas team plays, they are quick defensively. They are long. I honestly feel like they care more about the defensive side of things than they do offensively. They know that Darren Peterson's going to have to be their bell cow, for lack of a better term. He's going to have to go score 25 a night against those great teams out there. I mean, they're not going to beat North Carolina if Darren Peterson scores 15 on Friday. He's going to have to be that 20 to 25 point per game guy. And then Flory Badunga, why he's different than Hunter Dickinson? Oh, he took advantage of poor post presence from Green Bay, but he's going to dunk the ball a lot. He's going to score around the rim a lot. And he's also going to be able to defend way out beyond the perimeter, which if you watch Kansas the last 2 years, that's where you'd exploit them, right? Even if you had a big man that couldn't shoot it, you might as well shoot it, right? Because you're not going to be defended out there. And Hunter Dickinson, despite his size, was not a rim protector. He didn't have much of a vertical, where Flory Badunga does. And then you add that to Melvin Council, who's got such long arms. He's great at defending wings out there. Darren Peterson's a good defender. Trey White's a good defender. And then you're hoping that guys like Bryson Tiller and Cole Rosario, true freshmen, are going to be able to come into their own. Now, I am wildly impressed with Bryson Tiller. I'm not going to be surprised by March if he's the second best player on this team behind Darren Peterson. I mean, he is so polished for an 18-year-old. And Cole Rosario will get there. You remember Quentin Grimes when he was at KU for a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Before he transferred to Houston. He reminds me a lot of Grimes, not so much of overall star power, but how his shot looks really good. It's just not falling right now. But you got to keep shooting. And Bill Self said that in the post-game presser of, I'm never going to get on these guys for shooting the ball. I'm going to get on them for not shooting the ball. You got to keep letting it fly, man, because this team needs to be able to spread the floor. You can tell the spacing is so much different. They're well-balanced. And I'm glad they're going to get this test at the Dean Dome on Friday. And then I'm glad that shortly after that, they get Duke in the Champions Classic. They get NC State on the road. They get Missouri and Kansas City. This team's going to have their bumps and bruises. They're going to have some games where they don't look as polished. But I absolutely believe, and I'm not trying to drink the Kool-Aid so early on, if Darren Peterson is healthy all year long, they are going to be head and shoulders better than where they were last March going into the tournament, because I believe these are a lot of high-ceiling players, but also very raw players, which it's going to rear its ugly head in November and December, which is fine when you think about it.
It was fun to watch if you're a KU fan. They pretty much were in the rocking chair the whole game and never really threatened, didn't have to play their horses in the second half, and frankly didn't. Went to the walk-ons fairly early. And, just that's that. We'll move on to the Dean Dome on Friday, and we'll have that one for you with coverage starting at 4:30. Meanwhile, the other state schools had to wait, and they'll both be in action tonight. K-State hosting UNC Greensboro, and Wichita State hosting UNC Asheville. We'll talk more about the Shockers in hour 2, but K-State at Bramlage tonight, sizable favorite against UNC Greensboro, their first matchup of the season. Tell you about the rest of the Big 12 here in a second, but we talked about this just briefly. I forget how long ago it was, a couple of weeks ago, about this early K-State schedule and how it somewhat reflects Wichita State's pre-conference schedule, in that both, in my view, just taking a brief look at it, a lot of home games and a lot of potential wins for both K-State and Wichita State before they get into their respective conference matchups. We'll lay out Wichita State's schedule for you here in a second, but beyond UNC Greensboro, the Cats have 4 consecutive home games after that. And depending on your early prognostications or crystal ball, maybe Cal, maybe Mississippi State are the tough ones among them that are not away from home. Then they go to Indiana, and then 3 in a row at home, all very winnable for K-State when the calendar turns to the month of December. Now, there'll be some tests along the way before they get to Big 12 play, and their first Big 12 game will be against BYU. But there'll be a game against Creighton mixed in there, a game at Indiana, as I mentioned. That'll be their first road test. But UNC Greensboro tonight for K-State, and it's the first in a pretty long stretch of home games. If you're a K-State fan, I don't know how you couldn't expect to be 5-0 when they go to Indiana the week of Thanksgiving. But K-State tunes it up tonight. Wichita State does the same. We'll talk about the Shockers in hour number 2. When we come back, we need to shift gears to the NFL trade deadline because it's today. And not only are we keeping an eye open for what the Chiefs may do, you look around and some other teams are wasting no time at all. Dallas, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Seattle, all reportedly have made moves already. And what do they mean and what are these guys worth? We'll tell you exactly who's on the move and wait patiently to see if Kansas City does anything similar. Coming up at the end of hour number 1, as we always have on this show, we have a Twitter question. And today it's courtesy of Top Golf. Top Golf Tuesday Twitter has to do with sports bar food. Everybody likes sports bar food. So head on over and vote for your favorite of those that I put up there. And then hour number 2, we'll have an interview with Jordan Foote. And we'll talk Shockers as the women opened up last night and the men will follow suit tonight. ESPN Plus, if you want to follow along. We'll also have in hour number 2, our one a parlay pick of the week. I got a big one. I got a 6-legger and that'll pay me handsomely if I nail them all. I'll tell you what that is coming up in the 125 segment before we talk Shockers. And then I'm old Jack Young at the end of the show. We always finish up the show, a little bit of a funny bit. We'll celebrate some birthdays and have some fun, some sports related, some not. If you're unfamiliar with the show, check us out at 145 and see what you think of that. Keep the text coming if you got ideas, thoughts, etc. 316-247-0923. NFL trade deadline is 3 o'clock this afternoon, and some teams aren't waiting around. We'll give you the very latest. Who's going where in the NFL? That's coming up next.
You're listening to the Shane
All right,
Dennis
so
Show.
when I get you up and running, I'm going to go run down and finish up the last 5 minutes of that segment.
What do people
Yeah, take your time, man.
Low vision need to
And
live
then
before?
I'll just text
Just
you
ask
when
them.
I'm back in my
Skill
seat. So
development,
just don't throw it to me until I text you.
Yeah, no,
knowledge-based
don't worry about
jobs and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
Hey, it's Jeff from American Shaman. People ask, how are you still here? We're here because we believe life is beautiful, we believe in wellness and natural solutions, and we believe your life is better with the feather. If you agree, come see us at American Shaman in Wichita and Derby and online at yourcbd.pro.
And we are all tied up in the bottom of the 9th. Bases loaded. Electric in here. Electric. It all comes down to this pitch. You throw the fastball here. But it looks like Brock is walking off the field and is leaving the stadium. What is going on here?
I'm getting word that he left to get a taco.
When you need a taco, you need a taco. Introducing the new Cantina Crispy Melt Taco, only from Taco Bell. At participating U.S. locations for a limited time only.
The future will be amazing, and that's all well and good. But what about today? You can feel the rush of a 400-horsepower Nissan Z, or climb to new heights in the all-terrain Nissan Frontier. Light up the road in the all-electric Nissan Ariya that feels like a sci-fi dream come true. The future will be great, but today is made for thrill. All you have to do is get in a Nissan and drive. 2023 Ariya and Z not yet available for purchase. Expected availability is this spring for 2023 Z and this fall for 2023 Ariya.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, we'll use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Be a part of the magic this holiday season and join KWCH, Summit Media, ESPN Wichita, Simmons Bank, and Occidental Management at the 4th Annual Merry and Bright Union Station Lighting Event and Toy Drive on Thursday, November 20th to benefit the Wichita Children's Home. This year's event will once again feature the lighting of the historic Union Station building, photos with Santa, carriage rides, fireworks, and musical performances. Help brighten the lives of children in our community by bringing a new unwrapped toy to the event. Occidental Management is a proud supporter of the Wichita Children's Home and the impact they make in our community. To learn more, visit ictunionstation.com or call 316.
All right, as soon as the music goes completely off, know that I'm down the hall.
Okay. From everyone at Occidental Management, happy holidays.
Mixing it up a little today. We are celebrating what happened 10 years ago at the CMAs. And that is Luke Bryan. He was the Entertainer of the Year 10 years ago, according to the CMA Awards. So congratulations and happy anniversary, Luke Bryan. It is the NFL trade deadline, and we will get to that and the very latest on who's going where here in just a second. But before we do that, we have a celebration of sorts when it comes to movie viewing. Our good friends at Boulevard Theaters at Old Town, great place to watch a movie, first of all, if you haven't, or a watch party to watch the Chiefs play. But The Running Man is coming out in theaters soon, and we want you to be one of the first to witness it. You can join Wichita's sports leader at Boulevard Theaters at Old Town. It's coming up on Thursday, the 13th. Showtime at 7:30, just in case you're curious. And we're going to have a night full of giveaways, of course, the big screen, and a lot of fun too. And if you want to go, text the word running to 316-247-0923. It'll be your chance to win a pair of tickets to watch Running Man for free Thursday, November 13th on us and Boulevard Theaters at Old Town. That's where it's going to be. So if you want to go, text the word running, 316-247-0923. Join us for The Running Man on Thursday, November 13th at Boulevard Theaters in Old Town. Again, showtime is 7:30. So if you got somebody you think will enjoy that, and you want to go, and you want to check out the greatness of Boulevard Theaters in Old Town, come see us. And text running, 316-247-0923. We'll hook you up with a pair of tickets to go see that cool movie in their most luxurious surroundings. If you haven't been to Boulevard Theaters, you need to treat yourself and do it. All right. Trade deadline is, let's see, 3.5 hours away when it comes to the NFL. And there are certain trade deadlines that come and go that not a whole heck of a lot moves the needle. A lot of, in some years, backup linemen, backup linebackers. I think I've heard of him, but I'm not exactly sure. I didn't know he played for them. Well, so far, today even, and going into last night, that's not really the case. You can't complain, I wouldn't think. If you're a Seahawk fan, if you're a Colts fan, if you're a Jags fan, if you're a Ravens fan, and Eagles for sure, and I highly doubt the Eagles are done making moves, but even the Cowboys. Now, we heard last night right here on the channel, the Cowboys lost a disappointing game, to be quite frank, to the Arizona Cardinals and backup Jacoby Brissett. Double-digit loss at home, Monday Night Football. But that hasn't stopped Jerry Jones from making a move ahead of the deadline this afternoon. Tell you what that is coming up here in a second. But to kick it off, and these aren't in any particular order, so don't put my feet to the fire on when they happen, although who knows when they really happen. But the deadline today at 3 o'clock Central Time, The NFL recently extended the trade deadline by 1 week because it used to be, if you recall, if you're a big football fan, it used to be Halloween. During the 2024 season, though, team owners voted to push back the deadline to follow week 9 games to accommodate a 17-game regular season as opposed to 16. So if you feel like in your mind's eye that this is a little later than normal, you're right. And the reason is pretty simple. The season is 1 week longer. The Seahawks, one of the surprises of the NFC, they have made a play for speedster Rashid Shaheed from the Saints. Saints aren't going anywhere. Seahawks appear to be. So the Seahawks make a trade for, I don't know if you could consider Sam Darnold comeback player of the year or what, but he's having a hell of a year. He's a quarterback for the Seahawks, in case you didn't know it. But now he's got another weapon besides JSN. Rashid Shaheed, speedster from the Saints, goes to Seattle. New Orleans receives 2 draft picks next year, a 4th and a 5th rounder. So a couple of picks for wide receiver help for Seattle. Probably the big one, probably the biggest one, is involving Indianapolis and the New York Jets. Jets are 1-7, clearly not going anywhere. We've talked at length about the possibility of Wichita's own Breece Hall being on the move. It's not him, but it's arguably maybe a bigger name even than Breece Hall. Sauce Gardner has been traded to the Colts in exchange for 2 first-rounders. Indianapolis receives Gardner. The Jets get a 2026 first-round pick, a 2027 first-round pick, and wide receiver A.D. Mitchell. So that's a very interesting one, and one that would need some unpacking when it comes to examining who made out better and got the better end of that deal. But Sauce Gardner gets out of New York, and the 1-7 Jets will do without him and receive A.D. Mitchell, a receiver, and 2 first-round picks, one next year and one in 2027. Another wide receiver is on the move. A guy who asked for a trade a long time ago has been granted one. It's Jacoby Myers from the Raiders. He goes to Jacksonville, and Vegas receives 2 picks next year, a 4th rounder and a 6th rounder. So the Raiders stockpiling picks, get rid of Jacoby Myers. They don't seem to be going anywhere either. Sellers at the deadline. We talk about baseball teams being sellers at the deadline. Bad football teams in the NFL are sellers at the deadline. For example, the Cincinnati Bengals. In the midst of the Cowboys kind of laying an egg last night on Monday Night Football, they did make a trade. It was announced today. They get linebacker Logan Wilson from the Bengals, and exchange the Cincinnati receives a 7th round pick next year. A trade that was announced yesterday, one of the guys that was a hot commodity was linebacker for the Titans, Draymond Jones. He gets traded to the Ravens. Ravens get a little defensive help, certainly getting Lamar Jackson back, and then they turn around and beat the brakes off of the Dolphins. So that breathes a little life into that fan base and thinking that that division's not over just yet now that Lamar's coming back. So they get a little bit of defensive help in Draymond Jones. You could make the comparison, and I would listen to it if you did, that the Cowboys and Ravens getting help defensively might only be sticking your finger in the dam. The first 8 weeks or so, the Ravens in the AFC and the Cowboys in the NFC have been just hemorrhaging yards and points. The Cowboys probably more so a little bit than the Ravens, but how much can one guy help your entire defense? And will Dallas and the Ravens stop at just getting one guy to try to help their defense? That remains to be seen. Speaking of helping the defense, Philadelphia has traded for, and we reported it yesterday, traded for Jalen Phillips, a pass rusher from the Dolphins who aren't going anywhere. And in exchange, the Dolphins get a 2026 third-round pick. A couple of days ago, the Eagles made a trade with the Ravens, interestingly, and got Jair Alexander, the cornerback, and also a 2027 seventh-round pick in exchange for a sixth-rounder. So the Eagles send a sixth-round pick next year to the Ravens. Ravens ship Jair Alexander and a seventh-round pick 2 years from now to Philadelphia. Philadelphia, 2 days before that, got some more defensive back help from the Jets. They got a cornerback and a seventh-rounder in exchange for John Mechie III. He went to the Jets. Again, this wasn't within the last couple of days, but it was within the last week. There's some other kind of nondescript moves that were made, and we told you about them at the time. The Patriots actually made 2 trades, which kind of made them look like sellers, but they keep winning. So they're not only helping themselves in the present, but potentially in the future, or on paper anyway, in the future as well. And just recently, the Bears get some pass rush help. Boy, they pulled off a miracle against the Bengals, and that probably is why that was the straw that broke the camel's back with the Bengals, and why they're making trades. But Browns are sending Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and a seventh-rounder to the Bears in exchange for draft picks. Chicago lost their defensive end to a Achilles injury on Sunday, and 2 days later, make a trade. So maybe the Bears are, I don't know if for real is the right way to put it, but they're not sitting on their hands after that 47-42 win over the Bengals on Sunday. So the big takeaway here is Sauce Gardner getting out of New York, going to the Colts. The Cowboys trading for a linebacker. The Jags trading for Jacoby Myers, and the Seahawks. This is the one that's maybe under the radar and most intriguing to me. And it may just be that the Seahawks are intriguing to me, but Shaheed, basically a track star, goes to Seattle, and Jackson Smith in Jigba gets a little bit of a Robin to his Batman, and Sam Darnold has the Seahawks humming, especially offensively. He was really good against the Commanders the other night. So for those NFL fans that are underwhelmed when the trade deadline comes and goes in past years, got to believe you're fairly satisfied, at least with the flurry of activity here today on the day of the deadline. That's closing in on 3 hours. 3 o'clock Central Time is when the deadline will come. I don't know if, and this would be just thinking back in past years, in baseball, Major League Baseball's trade deadline, the trade deadline can come and go. And then the like whatever time it is, it's like 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock. I can't remember exact time, but just because that time strikes the clock, in baseball, you hear about deals after the fact that were made just under the wire. And who knows if that's really real or not. I'll be interested to see it come 3 o'clock today. Will some trades start to trickle in right after the deadline like baseball? I don't know, I can't remember if it works like that or not, or if, those 11th hour deals actually get made. But that's been a pretty interesting last week or so, or last hour or so, I should say, and week or so. There's been some trades before today that I told you about just a second ago, but interesting to see if the Chiefs will be involved in this. And you think back to, for those of a certain age, some of the most notable in-season trades ever. A lot of them were reserved for yesteryear. You remember the Herschel Walker deal to the Vikings. 18 players and draft picks were ultimately involved in that one, making it the largest trade in NFL history. That's a one of one. That kind of trade will never happen again. But I can remember in 2022, Carolina trading Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers. Panthers got a second, third, fourth, and a fifth rounder. And the Niners probably A-okay with giving that up, considering what Christian McCaffrey's done since he's got there. You got to be of a certain age to remember Eric Dickerson. That was a blockbuster trade when he got shipped from the Rams to the Colts, and it was a 3-team trade back in 1987. That involved 10 players, making it the second largest in-season trade ever after the Herschel Walker deal. And then 6 years ago, the now often traveled Jalen Ramsey was traded to the Rams and played in a Pro Bowl all 4 seasons with the Rams, key part of their Super Bowl win before they flipped him to the Dolphins. And also Marshawn Lynch back 15 years ago. Beast Mode was sent to the Seahawks. So there's 5 big in-season trades that happened prior to the trade deadline in the past in the NFL. And we'll keep you up to date if anything else happens. Got the alerts turned on and our ear to the ground, and we'll let you know if anybody, especially the Chiefs, if they do anything before the trade deadline, which is at 3 o'clock this afternoon. All right. There's the very latest, the NFL trade deadline. Again, a reminder, we're going to have fun time at Boulevard Theaters coming up on Thursday, November 13th. We're going to have a sneak preview, or a first look, I should say, at The Running Man. It's coming to theaters soon, and we want you to be there to be the first to witness it. You can join us at Boulevard Theaters at Old Town. Thursday the 13th, showing is at 7:30. We'll have a night full of giveaways, big screen, and a lot of fun. If you want to go, text the word running, 316-247-0923 for your chance to win a pair of tickets. That's running to 316-247-0923. Join us for Running Man, Thursday, November 13th, Boulevard Theaters at Old Town. All right. We'll continue giving stuff away. It's the Top Golf Twitter question. It has to do with best sports bar food. I got 4 of them up there for you to vote on. So head on over to our Twitter X handle page at ESPN Wichita. Vote, repost. I got 4 of them up there. I'll let you know what those are coming up here in just a little bit. Hour number 2, that is just 16 minutes away. So we'll check in with Jordan Foote, get his juicy takes when it comes to the trade deadline, the Chiefs, them going into their bye week, etc. Jordan joins us every Tuesday here on the show. And then at 1:25, at long last, Shocker basketball is back. Shocker women won big last night. We'll tell you about that. And the Shocker men get set for UNC Asheville tonight at 6:30. We'll preview that for you, give you a little taste of Shocker basketball. And it's a big week for Wichita State's men and women, both playing 2 games this week, both being played at the Roundhouse. Tell you who's coming up next for the women. Tell you who's coming up on the weekend for the men after that UNC Asheville game tonight. Should be a good one. We'll give you the very latest on what's expected of the Bulldogs coming up this year. So we'll talk about that coming up in about 30 minutes or so. I'm old Jack Young at the end of the show like normal, and then we'll hand you off to the Pulse and Pat from 2 to 4. What's your go-to bar food? We'll discuss next.
The Shane Dennis Show will be right
All right,
back
I got my phone on the line here. I want you to tell me if you can hear me, okay?
Okay. FM.
If you or a loved one has been a victim of personal injury, including medical malpractice and vehicle accidents, do not hesitate to call Prochaska
Can you hear me?
Howell and Prochaska.
Yes.
For more than 38 years, their experienced team has helped fight for your rights regardless of your legal status. They guarantee there will be no cost until they win. PHP will be there to assist you and help you navigate the complicated legal process. Call them now at 316-683-9080 or find them online at phpattorneys.com to schedule your free consultation today.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate.
I'm just going to keep my mic off completely so when you do the show, so whenever however you want to do it, I'll be ready to go with my phone.
Yeah, okay. I won't lie. I was getting ready to text you. I won't. I'll just babble for 2 or 3 minutes.
And if you have the wrong home insurance, you could need a wall.
And then will you start it off with welcome me in,
Get home
and then I'll say,
insurance with
well,
Allstate
great to be here, and then you'll ask me the question.
Like me.
Okay, cool.
Actually, I'll probably welcome in and ask you the question to start with.
Okay, sounds good.
Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
When storms hit, you need more than just a roofer. You need the biggest and most reliable name in the Midwest, Shamrock Roofing. Shamrock Roofing has grown into the largest roofing company in the region, with local crews right here to serve you. For nearly 50 years, we've proven our strength, our size, and our promise to you to be here for every repair and roof replacement. And every roof is backed by our lifetime craftsmanship warranty. One call does it all. Visit shamrockroofer.com.
Toppers Plus Truck and RV is your home for Rhino Linings Eco Coat, a spray-on RV roof coating for the ultimate protection of your RV. It's 100% seamless, won't crack or peel, UV resistant, lasts 3 times longer than your traditional rubber sheet roof, and includes a Toppers Plus lifetime leak-free guarantee. Get your free RV roof inspection at Toppers Plus Truck and RV. Upgrade your RV at 333 Northwest Street or check us out at toppersplusks.com.
Make your truck work for you.
Hey, ESPN Wichita listeners, let's officially kick off November at Twin Peaks West. Meet us at the Lodge at Ridge and Taft starting at noon this Friday for some eats, drinks, and scenic views. We're back out west with the Shane Dennis Show and The Pulse with Pat Strathman, rolling from noon to 4 this Friday, so come enjoy their scratch-made food, 29-degree drafts, and scenic views this Friday with ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM, Twin Peaks West, Ridge and Taft. Let's celebrate the weekend. We'll see you there.
I know it ain't all that
10 years ago at the CMAs, Chris Stapleton, vocalist of the year. Shocker, I'm sure. Time for the Twitter question. We got a lot of things to get to here in the next couple of segments. Top Golf Twitter. We'll let you know what we're going to have on air here for the next few days. Starting tonight, we will have Duke, Texas, 7:45 for that coverage. That starts tonight. So that'll be a good one. Tomorrow, we'll shift back after hours to football. We'll have Hawk Talk with Lance Leipold. That comes your way at 6 o'clock. And then, of course, the biggie that we talked about early, KU North Carolina from Chapel Hill. We'll have the coverage Friday starting at 4:30 as KU coming off of that big romp against Green Bay last night. We'll really get tested at Chapel Hill. It should be a fun one, and we're glad to bring it to you. Hopefully you'll listen to it right here on your home of the Jayhawks. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Coverage starting at 4:30. Time for the Twitter question, and it's brought to you by Top Golf today. I got a big day of giveaways too. If you're looking for the perfect venue to host your next big event in Wichita, look no further than Top Golf Wichita. Whether it's a corporate event, client appreciation night, birthday bash, fundraiser, or a tournament, or just want to take your significant other, have a good time out at Top Golf, they've got you covered. Tee off your next event at Top Golf today. Check them out online or call them 316-394-4057. That's 394-4057. Reserve your date today. The Twitter question is, what's your go-to bar food? So when you're going out to the pub, watching game, having a coldie, and you got a hankering for some food, what are you going with? I feel like these are the big four, but you can write in or text 316-247-0923 if you want. What's your go-to bar food? Nachos, mozzarella sticks, wings, or burger/slider. So you've got some protein there and you got a couple of things that are pretty bad for you. But you got 4 to choose from. Go to our Twitter page at ESPN Wichita and tell us what you think. What's your go-to? 50% are wings so far. So half of you go with wings. 22.7% say mozzarella sticks. 18.2% go with burger / slider. Only 9.1% are going with the nachos. So head on over there, vote and repost. And before we go any further, if you want some Top Golf swag, some stuff, some freebies from Top Golf, text golf 316-247-0923. Text the word golf. You want some free golf stuff from our good friends at Top Golf. So use text line, win all kinds of stuff today. One of our texters has said, if the bar has it, French dip. Yeah, that's maybe a little riskier, but I like where your head's at, texter, because I like French dip too. All right, we understand that we have a caller on the line, 316-669-4996. We have Bill from Lawrence. Bill, appreciate you calling. Understand that you were at the KU basketball game last night. Thank you for the call, first of all. And what did you think?
Well, first and foremost, guys, I'm thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me on, guys. But yeah, I was at the game last night in Lawrence, and what a drill, guys. I mean, come on now. To get Flory the ball as much as they did, and Melvin Council. I mean, I think he's going to be one of the favorites of this team, guys. But to see DP, even for just a half, Shane, it was a great thing to see. Great win by the team, and looking forward to the next one, the D-Dome on Friday.
Okay, so you can't be any different than the rest of us, knowing that Darren Peterson's the cream of the crop. But a player not named Darren Peterson, who's your favorite player after one game, after watching that game last night, Bill?
Well, a great question, Shane. I would probably say Melvin Council's just got that tenacity, guys. He's got that tenacity on the defensive side of things, and I think he's going to be one of those favorites for the team up there in Lawrence. And his arms are so long, guys. He can guard just about anybody in this conference. And the crowd certainly seems to love him. Students love him. I know that the coaching staff loves him as well.
All right, Bill, if you don't mind, before you go, and thank you so much again for the call, what's your go-to bar food? You want to weigh in on this? Nachos, mozzarella sticks, wings, or burger / slider? What do you got there?
I'll probably do a ride in here, guys. I love that guana dip over at Salty Guana. That guana dip is to die for. And if I was to pick one more, I'd probably go with those wings over at Jefferson's. I mean, those are terrific, guys. So those would probably be my two. Thanks for listening, and thanks for the call, Bill. All right, take care, guys. And that was Bill in Lawrence calling in to the hotline, 316-669-4996, weighing in on that KU Green Bay game last night and looking forward to that North Carolina game, of course. You can hear that one right here on the channel, 4:30 with your coverage. All right, hour number 2 is right around the corner. When you get to Jordan's Juicy Takes, Jordan Foote, brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu. Get his thoughts on the trade deadline, Chiefs-Bills game. Josh Simmons is back. We've kind of just glossed over that. What does that mean looking forward? So Jordan Foote coming your way here shortly. Also, we got to talk about the Shocks. Wichita State and UNC Asheville tonight on the men's side. The women with a big win last night. We'll tell you all about that coming up at 1:25. And then at the end of the show, I'm old Jack Young. Oh, by the way, forgot to mention or remind you, our picks from Wanna Parlay. That comes your way in the 125 segment. Myself and Jack will give you our picks of the week, brought to you by Wanna Parlay. You can use promo code JACK for a 100% deposit match up to $250. So head on over to Wanna Parlay, download that app. You got to be 18 plus to play. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER today. I've got a 6-leg parlay at Wanna Parlay. Normally I don't have that many, but again, what I do in order to make not only a good amount of money last a while, you can turn $2 into $2,000 if you play the main event, depending on how many legs you have. But it's only a $2 entry fee at Wanna Parlay. That's what I go to every time. click on that main event, and you click on teams, individuals, and different sports. That's something that's going to come your way at 125. So we'll give you our picks of the week, courtesy of One Up Parlay. I'm old Jack Young at the end of the show. Trade deadline looming. It's about 3 hours away. We'll get Jordan's juicy takes. Jordan Foote coming up next.
Wichita's news sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM, KKGQ, Newton. Wichita's news sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Was that good quality?
Yeah, texts are pouring in.
Rest up.
What'd they say?
Well done was one.
Gotta be more consistent at quarterback. Gotta learn from it fast. And,
that was hilarious. Good job, Bill.
Wichita's home for Chiefs coverage. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, we'll use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
The future will be amazing, and that's all well and good. But what about today? You can feel the rush of a 400 horsepower Nissan Z, or climb to new heights in the all-terrain Nissan Frontier. Light up the road in the all-electric Nissan Ariya that feels like a sci-fi dream come true. The future will be great, but today is made for thrill. All you have to do is get in a Nissan and drive. 2023 Ariya and Z not yet available for purchase. Expected availability is this spring for 2023 Z and this fall for 2023 Ariya.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain? At Midwest Pain Relief Center, we provide cutting-edge, drug-free therapies to help you live a more active, full life right here in Wichita and the surrounding communities. We're Kansas' top integrated medical clinic focused on finding and treating the root cause for your pain with personalized care. No prescriptions, no unnecessary surgeries. Call 316-295-3662 today or visit MidwestPainReliefCenter.com or drop by 151 North Ridge, Suite 6 in Wichita. Midwest Pain Relief Center. Stop hurting, start healing.
Since 1886, it's been the two words we live by and the chant we live to cheer. Be here all season as the Jayhawks hit the turf.
Touchdown, Kansas!
Join us this Saturday as the Jayhawks head to Tucson for a desert showdown with Arizona. Our coverage begins at 1 on your home for Kansas Jayhawk football.
The Jayhawks play here. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Time now for Jordan's Juicy Takes, brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu. Jordan Foote on the line, at Footnoted on Twitter. Sports fans know the best games deserve the best food. Nothing beats Booth Creek Wagyu, raised right here in Kansas, whether it's burgers on the grill, steak night at home, or tailgating for the big game. BCW brings you the premium flavor, unmatched tenderness, and a true farm-to-table experience. Stop by at 21st and Webb. That's their location here in Wichita. And taste the difference for yourself. Booth Creek Wagyu, changing the way America eats beef. BoothCreekWagyu.com for more info or to order for your example, Thanksgiving or Christmas feast. Stop in there and see them and go online to order your stuff. All right. Well, we get now to on the hotline, Jordan Foote. We'll get to the trade deadline here in just a second, Jordan, but just your reaction on the Bills kind of handling the Chiefs back on Sunday. What stuck out to you as a reason why the Chiefs were battling uphill pretty much the whole afternoon?
The Chiefs had a multitude of shortcomings to say the least. On Sunday, the offensive line was a problem for one of the first times all season. And I think that similarly to when Joe Thuney looked good at left tackle for a few games and Wanya Morris maybe had a small sample where he looked competent. And Jalen Moore, don't get me wrong, is a better player at left tackle than both of them, probably by quite a bit. But I would argue that Josh Simmons, even with the small-ish sample size he has, is also a good bit better than Jalen Moore. And the Chiefs saw that on Sunday, where he was kind of getting baptized a bit by the Bills. And once the Bills got a lead, they were able to pin their ears back with the pass rush. And Next Gen Stats tweeted it out. Yes, Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, didn't play too well for his standards, but he was pressured just over half the time on his dropbacks. It was unsustainably bad on the offensive side of the ball. And you hit the nail on the head. You can see the final score of 28-21 and say, okay, well, classic Chiefs-Bills one-score game down to the wire. Not really. I think Buffalo thoroughly outplayed the Chiefs. They seemed well prepared. They seemed to want it more physically, mentally. Andy Reid did not coach a very good game whatsoever, and I think that Steve Spagnuolo had a day that he would probably admit that he regrets as well.
So this not exactly the age-old question, but in this particular case, I think the shoe would have fit for the Chiefs. So many times over the years, the opposing team's strategy is just to try to win the time of possession battle, shrink the game, more possessions than the Chiefs. Considering what we knew going into the Bills game, wouldn't that been the time to try that strategy against the Bills? Keep Josh Allen off the field. This is a less than stellar defense for Buffalo that was banged up there in their own right. And yet, I get you don't have Isaiah Pacheco and you don't exactly have marquee names in the backfield, but you don't know until you try. And they turn and hand it to Kareem Hunt only 11 times. CEH only got 2 carries. Wouldn't this been the time to try to, all right, let's turn into a ground and pound and keep Josh Allen off the field?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you have to consider something like that. And yes, the Chiefs, once they got down, 15 points, 28-13. Okay, I see abandoning the run a little bit. But before that, it's not like they were a ground and pound offense, and they don't even need to be. But when Kareem Hunt is averaging 4.5, 5 yards a pop at different points in the game, and he had an explosive run of 13 yards, he looked to be a little bit spry despite some of the injuries that he's had. We're talking about a guy, Shane, that among running backs with 50-plus rushes this season, he averages more EPA per rush than anybody, more than Jonathan Taylor, more than James Cook, more than Rico Dowdle, Javonte Williams, Rashad White. The list goes on and on. He's had a very, very, very effective season in the role the Chiefs are asking him to fulfill. And yes, you can say, okay, he was being asked to maybe do a little bit too much, I think, when Isaiah Pacheco was down, but he was playing very well. Like, he was doing exactly what they needed him to do. Why continue to drop back and try to turn this into a track meet? And some of the concepts they were running, Shane, in the passing game were just very bad. Like the personnel packages when you have Kelsey, Gray, Juju, no Rice, no Worthy out on the field on first downs a couple times. Like, it was just very poorly prepared, it seemed. And I don't really subscribe to the theory that Andy Reid intentionally came into that game with a bad game plan. I think that he just got outcoached by a Bills coaching staff that does have some decent ones, but kind of a blemish, I think, and definitely a worthy criticism of the Chiefs coaches that in all facets, I don't think they came prepared well enough and didn't execute or adjust once the game started to get away from them.
They don't have the weapons the Chiefs do, but they do have James Cook, and they're not afraid to turn around and hand him the ball, which and the Chiefs don't have James Cook. So there's that disconnect. Back to the Chiefs offense just for a second, and their receivers, their pass catchers, be it Kelsey or the wide receivers. Is it possible that there's too many cooks in the kitchen? Like, you're going to have to, I get that a couple of weeks ago, everybody said the right things that everybody's going to eat in this offense, et cetera. But can everybody being healthy be too much?
I think so sometimes. And yes, there are too many cooks in the kitchen. And with that, everybody's got to eat. So you have everyone trying to prepare a dish for the get together, and then everyone's at the table also getting ready to eat. And I think the Chiefs have a very good group of people at tight end and wide receiver where no one is going to demand the ball more than another. Nobody's going to turn it into a big deal, but just the mere presence of Travis Kelce, who's having a very good season for someone his age, Xavier Worthy, who's back from the shoulder injury, and I think still kind of fighting through that and maybe the ankle, but he's out there. Hollywood Brown, Juju, Rice is now back. Tyquan Thornton has been almost non-existent, which is kind of a praise to the depth and the talents they have right now. But, man, it is a lot to factor in when you're also trying to establish a run game and your possessions are limited. The margins, again, the Chiefs have said it for years, and I think it got covered up because they were winning so many postseason games and breezing through seasons that the margins are thin in the NFL. When you play good teams with great quarterbacks that can control the ball, limit mistakes, all of that good stuff, 1-2 possessions, 1-2 plays can end up having an impact in the outcome of the game. So they do have a lot of cooks in the kitchen. I think there were 1 or 2 instances where it seemed like Patrick Mahomes almost had his mind made up where he was going on the play, and that seems to happen every once in a while with either Kelce or Rice. And frankly, I don't blame him for lacking maybe trust in the offensive line or certain players, but eventually you just have to go with that egalitarian approach, but not – it's a fine line between force-feeding one guy, trusting this guy to be your top one, and making use of your depth. And that's without even mentioning, Shane, the endless combinations they can have. But when one of those combinations doesn't result in Rashee Rice or Xavier Worthy on the field, I think that's almost kind of a wasted snap.
I would agree. That's fair to say. Is there, and we're talking to Jordan Foote, Jordan's Juicy Takes, brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu. Are there any glaring issues going into the bye week in your mind?
I think getting the Josh Simmons thing resolved was one of them, but luckily on Monday it was reported that he's going to be back with the team and kind of getting that reacclimation period going. So that is no longer a glaring red flag issue. I think one on each side of the ball. On offense, you have to figure out what your mix at running back is going to be. And frankly, God bless Rashard Smith. I think he's a very fun player. He's talented. He can do the gadgets as, wow, the Cowboys are getting Quinnen Williams, I just saw coming across on the timeline. That is nuts. Anyway, we'll get to that here in a second.
Get to it right now if you want to.
Okay, I just this trade deadline is insane. Like the Jets making moves, offloading Sauce and Quinnen before Breece Hall is probably peak Jets, I think. And Jerry Jones he's lost it. It's just absolutely insane. The progression from losing Micah to going on radio and saying you have trades coming and now this happening, it's going to make them formidable, but too little, too late. So I don't think that the Chiefs have anything that blockbuster-ish in store, and if they do make a move, it's going to be a minor one. But I've been telling people if there was ever a time for them to shake things up, it would be from 1 to 1:30 on Tuesday afternoon.
You talked about the Jets sending Gardner to the Colts and reportedly Quinnen Williams shipping him out. Does that mean that they won't trade Breece Hall, or does it mean if they traded those two guys, then he's definitely next?
I think it's got to be the latter, and definitely might be strong. But, man, why would you trade those two and not him? You know what I mean? Especially with his contract situation. They just extended Sauce over the summer, and everyone seemed to be very happy with his future with the organization. So if you're going to do that, maybe you draw the line at Garrett Wilson and you have to throw the ball to somebody. And once he's back up and running, they can build around him. But why stop there? And Breece Hall doesn't seem to be a guy they want to re-sign anyway. I doubt he is too happy about maybe being with the Jets long-term. So I would move him. They very obviously are not going anywhere this season, so why not? But it's got to be – their phones are probably ringing off the hook as we speak.
A little bit of more of an under-the-radar trade. The Seahawks have been a really pleasant surprise with Sam Darnold's resurgence. They get Rashid Shaheed, reportedly, from the Saints, their speedster, to go with Jackson Smith and Jigba. What a start for the Seahawks, and I kind of like that move.
Yeah, no doubt. Ted Nguyen from The Athletic, he does fantastic film breakdowns and just stories in general. They have like one of the highest explosive pass rates ever and Sam Darnold is just absolutely frying opposing defenses. And I keep waiting for the 2024-25 Vikings Sam Darnold to come out, where in the last game or two of the season and then the playoff game, he didn't look the same. But he just looks like a totally legitimate quarterback. And I don't know if that means he's top 10, top 12, top 7, what have you. But when that run defense is firing the way it is, McDonald's a fantastic coach. They already generated a ton of explosive plays. And it seems like if you're a avid red zone watcher, and the Saints play plenty of early slate games because they don't get much prime time, that Rashid Shaheed is constantly in a highlight reel of torching somebody or making a big play, whether it be for a first down or a touchdown. So that JSN, they run a lot of heavy personnel. They have Torrey Horton there. They can run the ball a little bit. That is, I don't want to say Seattle's a definite contender in the NFC, but they're a definite playoff team, I would say, that can do some damage on the offensive side.
It's funny you bring up, well, I kind of brought it up, but Sam Darnold, and also we saw last night, and we heard it here on the channel, Jacoby Brissett has done nothing but produce when he came in for Kyler Murray. We've been told that Murray is on the doorstep of coming back, and when he's ready, he is coming back. He's going to be the starter. On one hand, Jordan, you can say, look, there's a reason why Jacoby Brissett and Sam Darnold are backups. Maybe not necessarily in the case of Darnold. Maybe the Jets rushed him a little bit and moved on from him a little quick, and that's an argument you could listen to. But man, having an important backup type quarterback that can step up and either be your starting quarterback like Darnold or be a very competent backup. And I don't know if the Cardinals are going to go anywhere, but that was one of the best moves that they made, bringing in Jacoby Brissett. It's kind of a heartwarming story in an otherwise cold business, right?
No doubt. And I think environment for those guys, if you're not a dude, so to speak, like a top 15, 16 quarterback, that environment does mean a ton. And even for Gardner Minshew, coming from a Raiders, gives him much to work with at all. If Patrick Mahomes had a Jags playoff game type of incident where he gets hurt and you need someone else to come in and at least give you a shot, I think Gardner Minshew would be much better off in Kansas City than he would in a lot of places. So if you have an experienced guy that can catch lightning in a bottle, and we've seen Joe Flacco go to the Bengals and just put up absolutely insane numbers in 4 games, and their offense is one of the top 2 or 3 in the league over that span. So some of this is, of course, small sample size math, and you would think over a 16-game season, we kind of saw it with Jake Browning, where he started off playing well and then trickled down over time. But if you have an experienced backup that's been around, that's seen some things, not just the leadership aspect, but the insurance policy, and God forbid if something does happen to your star quarterback, I think that in today's NFL, most teams are better insulated to be competitive than they used to be.
And then you got the flip side, as you well know, you got Justin Fields, who's kind of flopped a little bit. Geno Smith is turning the ball over at a pretty high rate. So guys that finally do get their chance, it's not necessarily a happily ever after story as well, because these things are fluid, man. You can be high one day and down in the dumps the next. So picking your, I don't know, non-franchise quarterback is like flipping a coin pretty much, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we both have kind of talked very, very highly of Baker Mayfield over the past few years on this program when he's been on his ascension. But we all know that, like, if Baker went to a middle of the pack situation, and this isn't to ignore Tampa's injuries, like he's doing this just playing out of his mind for most of the season. But if he was on, if he stayed in Carolina for a longer term or something like that, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing now. Like environment, if you were not a top quarterback, and even if you are a top quarterback, we saw the Patrick Mahomes of the world, those numbers look a little bit, just okay instead of otherworldly. We get caught up in the box score, but the traits are important. The environment is important. I think the experience aspect, and I'm not a professional athlete, but I would imagine just the mental reset or the backing of somebody. JJ McCarthy's situation could have easily turned into, I don't know, an Anthony Richardson type of thing, but he has a coach who just believes in him 1,000%. I think that matters when your coach is backing you, the organization isn't going away from you. That stuff is important, whether you can quantify it or not.
Okay, so Jordan just broke the news just a little bit ago that the Cowboys are trading for Quinnen Williams. So the Jets move Williams to Dallas. Dallas, the reports are, has sent a 2026 second rounder and a 2027 first rounder back to the Jets. If the Jets have any idea at all how to draft over the next couple of years, they figured to be on the road back. Now that is easier said than done. Ask the Raiders year after year. So now that you kind of had a chance to exhale, what does this do to the Cowboys? Anything?
I mean, it makes their defense scarier, I suppose, and their season is not over despite what they showed against the Cardinals. Like even at 3-5-1, I believe they have that record right now. Philly, they're going to win that division. Washington, with Jaden Daniels hurt, isn't going anywhere. I do think that the Giants are one of the feistier 2-7 teams that I've watched in quite a while. Like they're fun to watch. They have a competitive front seven, all that. Dallas can go on a run, and I think that it is possible. Dak opened up the season playing super, super good football. They don't have – the problem is they have the bye this week, then they have the Raiders, and okay, maybe you get to 4-5-1. But then you rattle off Philly, Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, and Los Angeles. And then maybe, just maybe, if Jaden Daniels is back and Washington has any remnants of a chance, Washington might not be a pushover. And then you're closing against the Giants. So not the easiest closing schedule. I don't think this makes them a playoff team per se. But Quinnen Williams is a heck of a player. And I think a down year, year and a half, and a couple injuries have led people to forget that. But you can count on probably one hand how many interior defensive linemen can wreck a game like him. The guy in Kansas City is one of them as well. It does make them a more formidable defense that's just been absolutely terrible this season. So they needed it. Now, is it the move to make, and does it put them back on the map? I'm not quite sure that's the case.
All right, so getting back to the Chiefs, many coaches will tell you going into their bye week, this was a, quote, perfect time to go into our bye. Do you think that's the case with the Chiefs? Is this a good time to hit pause?
Yeah, probably. And just with how their last game ended, how emotional it was, you have a huge game against Denver coming up on the road. Like I think if those were back-to-back, it could have been maybe one of those you let the Bills beat you twice types of things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you lose to Denver, you're really not quite doomed, but darn close to it in the race for the AFC West. Like this game is monumental. It's huge for the Chiefs to be able to get back in this race. And they already have the head-to-head loss to Los Angeles. That is a tough one. So that is a good time. They're also a little bit banged up. I think there are players that are dealing with minor things that are, again, impacting their play. And Xavier Worthy, whether it's the coaching staff kind of protecting him a little bit or him not fighting through contact here or just looking at a tick off, that stuff matters. It's a good mental reset for Patrick Mahomes, who I'm sure every quarterback does this during the bye, but he seems very, very set every year on getting with his skill position coach and getting the footwork down. And we saw Sunday he definitely could probably use that mental clarity at this point. So physically, it's probably the right time. Mentally, it's the right time. And then considering how big this game is and how good Andy Reid is coming off of a bye, that Week 11 Denver matchup, you're probably well positioned to have a little bit of extra time to prepare for that.
Yeah, it took the words out of my mouth when it comes to Andy Reid off a bye. The Chiefs have more points and have surrendered fewer points than Denver. Yet the Broncos are 7-2 and the Chiefs are 5-4. So this, if you extrapolate things out a little over a week, this is a big spot for the Chiefs. And I think there are certainly a lot of the talking heads, Stephen A. Smith, a lot of the guys and gals on TV. Don't worry about the Chiefs. They're still minus 700 to make the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not trying to poo-poo that, but I'm also not convinced that they're going to come out of the gates and win 5 in a row coming off the bye. The Broncos are clearly improved. Now, whether they have what's between the ears to beat the Chiefs, that remains to be seen. And maybe that's what a lot of people are hanging their hats on, that the Chiefs are still in many ways the king of the mountain, and some teams don't know how to beat them. But at the Broncos is big. The Colts You believe in them? Well, they just got Sauce Gardner. I'm sure he'll be revved up and ready to go by then, if not this week. And then the trip to the Cowboys, they figure to be favored there. But then 2 home games against the Texans and then the Chargers. Certainly everything's out in front of them, but I don't know if it's as cut and dried as everybody thinks. And maybe I'm in the minority that the Chiefs are going to have to battle their butts off to make the playoffs. That's what I think.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's kind of interesting how last year they really only lost one real game. Like, I'm not really counting that last one of the season where starters sat and there was nothing really to play for. Everyone was saying all year, well, the results are good, but man, this process kind of stinks. It reeks like this is not a 15-win team, 16-win team. Like, I just don't think that they're that good. They're more of a good team than an elite one. This year, I would argue they're better than a 5-4 team. And again, though, at a certain point, your record is what you say you are.
Mm-hmm.
And they are a team that has goofed around a little bit and not won on the margins and had some regression in the one-score game category. And when Denver is competent to good, I wouldn't quite say elite. Los Angeles is competent to good. And they have the head-to-head tiebreaker. The Broncos play the Raiders in Week 10. So if they're 8-2 and the Chiefs are coming into that game and you lose, you can probably kiss the AFC West goodbye, barring a complete collapse. So this is a very big one for the Chiefs. I do think that they are capable, even if they did sneak in at, let's say, 10-7 and made the playoffs, they can go on a run and get to the Super Bowl. But the whole point of the playoffs is to make things easier on yourself before you get there. And that's one thing the Chiefs just haven't been able to do so far.
Good stuff, Jordan. We'll keep our eyes and ears on the NFL trade deadline. We'll send them your way at Footnoted for all things NFL and otherwise. Good job, Jordan. Appreciate you.
Likewise, buddy.
All right, Jordan Foote. His Juicy Takes brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu. So breaking a little news. Quinnen Williams going to the Cowboys. Jerry Jones making some noise. Whether it will matter or not remains to be seen. All right, when we come back, we need to talk a little basketball. It's finally here for Wichita State. The Shocker men with a matchup with UNC Asheville tonight at 6:30 at the arena. We'll talk to you about that. And also the Shocker women already underway, and they're 1-0. They got in the win column as they really laid down a dominating performance against Division II Lincoln out of Missouri. Wichita State got about whatever it wanted when it comes to women's basketball last night. We'll tell you the score of that game, who they have coming up, and a busy week at Charles Koch Arena. The first of 4 basketball games was played last night by the Shocker women. The men will get their chance tonight. UNC Asheville and Wichita State talk coming up next. It's 124.
The Shane Dennis Show will be right back.
Be right back.
On ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
School is back. Are you tech ready? Rivet Computers has everything you need. Laptops, custom desktops, fast repairs, and affordable accessories for kids of all ages. Visit us in West Wichita, East Wichita, or Derby. Our local team makes tech simple. No gimmicks, just great service and great prices. Start the school year smarter at Rivet Computers.
And we are all tied up in the bottom of the 9th. Bases loaded. Electric in here. Electric. It all comes down to this pitch. You throw the fastball here. But it looks like Brock is walking off the field and is leaving the stadium. What is going on here?
I'm getting word that he left to get a taco. When you need a taco, you need a taco. Introducing the new Cantina Crispy Melt Taco, only from Taco Bell. At participating U.S. locations for a limited time only.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
Hey, it's Jeff from American Shaman. People ask, how are you still here? We're here because we believe life is beautiful, we believe in wellness and natural solutions, and we believe your life is better with the feather. If you agree, come see us at American Shaman in Wichita and Derby and online at yourcbd.pro.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. They personalize this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Chiefs Kingdom, want to light up your fan cave? Bud Light and ESPN Wichita are teaming up to give away a Chiefs Bud Light neon sign for your football cave. Pay close attention to the Shane Dennis Show in the Pulse with Pat Strathman, and when you hear this sounder, text 316-247-0923 for your chance to win. It's brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Catch the best Chiefs coverage only on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
I got a girl crush. Hate to admit it.
10 years ago, that took the CMA for Song of the Year. Little Big Town right there. As you heard just a little bit ago, we will update you on the NFL trade deadline as it gets a little closer. We're an hour and a half away now from that deadline and pretty active. Lots and lots of stuff to absorb, and we'll do that tomorrow in the 1 o'clock hour. Kind of assess, reassess, and see if the Chiefs did anything at all here in the next hour and a half. So we'll reflect on that tomorrow once we get there. Also, we will have the college football playoff rankings. They'll be out. They're out tonight. So we'll talk about that tomorrow during the show, and also we'll react to Shockers and UNC Asheville. They play tonight. We'll also have some Paul Mills audio from post game tonight. But last night kicked off the first game and first day of a busy week. Charles Koch Arena. College basketball is here, as you know. And the Shocker women opened year 3 under Terry Nooner against Lincoln, Missouri, the Division II program. And it wasn't dissimilar to the Newman exhibition, honestly, when it comes to the results and the contributions that many, many Shocker women had last night. 96-42 was the final last night. That game for Lincoln was an exhibition, but it was a real one for Wichita State. And they blitzed Lincoln, and it didn't take long to do it either. They led by 14 led by 14 at the quarter, and led 56-19 at the half. They led by as many as 60 before settling on 96-42. Much like the Newman game, everyone that was able played, and everybody that did play scored. Jayla Harding in her homecoming, 17 points, 5 3-pointers. That's a welcome sight for Wichita State women fans. Kylie Ortiz, who barely played last year, and by barely, I mean she played 1 minute and then was out for the rest of the year. She came in and made 2 3-pointers. That's kind of her forte. She was 2 out of 4. She had 6 points. 4 Shockers were in double figures. They really were never tested last night by Lincoln, but that was kind of the idea. Because teams in the past had kind of, as Jack would call it, play with their food a little bit, and in games against teams that they frankly should overmatch, sometimes they didn't. And last night they did over a Division II Lincoln program that used to be in the MIAA. They're from Jefferson City, Missouri. So 96-42, the final. Not a lot to take away besides everybody contributed, and the Shocker women are 1-0. And coming up on Thursday, they will face someone their own size. They'll face Northwestern State out of the Southland. The Lady Demons played last night. They were in Lincoln to take on Nebraska,
and Nebraska beat the Demons 103-46. I don't know exactly what that means, whether the Shocker women are well on their way to being 2-0. That remains to be seen, but Northwestern State lost by 67 last night in Lincoln. So they are up next for the Shocker women. As for the men, they play tonight, and we will see. I don't know if this would be a huge undertaking, but if you combine the Shocker men, their roster, and the Shocker women's roster, I would challenge you and maybe even defy you to find a combined roster with as many newcomers to the program as the Shocker men and women have in 2025, 2026. Just looking here at the Shocker men's roster, Henry Thingvall returns, Joey Gavoja returns, TJ Williams returns, although he didn't play last year. He had a red shirt. And that's it. 3 returners, and I think Shocker women had 3 returners. Ortiz, Breon White, and Sissoko. So 6 total between the men and women holdovers from a year ago. Now, the men, a little different than the women when it comes to their record from a year ago. They were 19-15 and made an appearance in the NIT, losing a game against Oklahoma State. But big turnover nonetheless. And we'll get our first looks at not only TJ Williams, who's from Wichita, but didn't play at all last year. So we'll get our potential first look at him. But Kenyon Giles, who is named to the American preseason all-conference first team. And you got some other transfers in the shooters, in the shooter category. Michael Gray Jr., also Karan Boyd, transfer. He's a native of North Carolina. Jarrett Valencia, big at 6'8". Also, Will Berg, the big guy, the legit 7-footer from Purdue, will be making his Shocker debut. Brian M. Unique, kind of a hybrid, kind of a 6'8" long dude. We'll get our first look at him and first look at pretty much everybody, including the returners for Wichita State, who didn't play much or if at all last year. Now, what's expected of UNC Asheville? This is not, at least on paper, this is not some rummy coming in, taking a check, and Wichita State will beat them by 30. That ain't going to happen. UNC Asheville is picked to finish second in their league. They are a team that has 3 consecutive 20-plus win seasons. They also have the preseason Big South Player of the Year. He's a problem. 6'9", long, scorer, rebounder, and a shot blocker. His name's Toyez Solomon. Averaged 16.7 rebounds, blocked 51 shots, and shot 61% from the field last year. He's the preseason Player of the Year in the Big South. Asheville's picked to finish second in the Big South poll. It's not Winthrop predicted to win, but High Point instead. But this is, like I said, this is a team in UNC Asheville that will not come in here and roll over. The odds makers will bear that out. But Wichita State, on the other hand, pretty good at home in the month of November, even under Paul Mills in his 3rd year here. As last year, you'll recall, their home opener was against Montana State, and Shockers won that game by 20. I don't see that being the case or the outcome with UNC Asheville coming in this year. The Shockers, again, are excellent at home in November. They're excellent at home in their home openers since the 2003 renovation to Charles Koch Arena. The Shockers are 21-1 in home openers in the last 22 years. 61-8 all time in home openers, dating all the way back to the non-modern era. Again, they won 89-69 in the home opener against Montana State last year. So don't expect to blow away. And if you get one, then be happy about it, Shocker fans, because UNC Asheville is no pushover. And hopefully by the end of the night, we'll be introduced to the majority of, if not all of the newcomers and new faces wearing Shocker uniforms. Speaking of, they'll be wearing their throwback MTXE home white uniforms, I've been told. On social media, it's also been released that the Shockers will wear their traditional whites with the MTXE, the throwback on the shorts. Beyond the UNC Asheville game, I told you about the busy week. Got Shocker men tonight, and the women will be back at it on Thursday against Northwestern State. Shocker men Saturday night against Prairie View A&M. So there's your breather. That'll be at 6 o'clock. But this one tonight ought to be a doozy, 6:30. And next Thursday, the 13th, Loyola Chicago comes calling. All those games can be viewed on ESPN Plus. And then the Shockers will hit the road to Boise to take on Boise State. And if you missed it last night, Boise State lost at home to a Division II team, Hawaii Pacific, a monumental upset that certainly will sting for a couple of days at the very least for Broncos fans. But that's the first true road game for Wichita State's men. They'll go to Boise on Tuesday, November the 18th to take on Boise State after 3 straight games at home, starting tonight against UNC Asheville. All right, it's time for our picks of the week, brought to you by Wanna Parlay. And Jack and I's picks of the week coming up. You can use promo code Jack for a 100% deposit match up to $250. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER today. Must be 18 plus to play. Again, just a personal note. When I put together a parlay at Wanna Parlay, I go to the main event. It's right there on the front page. It's only $2 to enter a parlay. And in the one I have right now, I have a mix of basketball and football, and it's a season high 6-legger that I got going. First of all, Akron in football tonight, laying 9.5. I'll take Akron and lay the 9.5. Also in basketball, Oklahoma State, I'm going to take the Cowboys and lay 21.5. I'm also going to take the K-State over in the first half of their game against Greensboro tonight, over 38.5 points in the first half for K-State basketball. And this may be the one that kills me, but I went out on a limb. Portland State to win the first half against Stanford. And finally, an individual, Trey Kaufman-Wren from Purdue. I'm going to take his under of 19.5 individual points. Hopefully he won't need to score that many. They play Evansville tonight in West Lafayette. So in football, I got Akron tonight minus 9.5. The rest basketball, OSU minus 21.5, K-State over 38.5 in the first half, Portland winning the first half against Stanford, and Trey Kaufman-Wren under 19.5 points tonight against Evansville. Jack, your picks.
I'm going to go with the over on points for PJ Haggerty, K-State taking on UNC Greensboro tonight. I'm going to take the over on total rebounds for Cam Boozer, the standout freshman for the Duke Blue Devils. And I'm going to go on the flip side of what you said about Stanford. I'm going to take the Cardinal to cover at home tonight in Palo Alto against Portland State.
Just as long as Portland State's ahead at half, we can both win and both be happy. All right, there you have it. There's our picks of the week, brought to you by Wanna Parlay. When we return, I'm old, Jack's young. Next.
You're listening to The Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita.
In business, just like in sports, the best defense wins games. That's where Conradi Insurance comes in, delivering elite risk management and employee benefits to companies across the greater Wichita area. As the largest family-owned independent insurance agency in Wichita, we don't just talk the talk, we protect Kansas businesses like they're part of our team. Conradi Insurance,
Jack, be right back.
Built for business, rooted in community, always playing to win. Visit ConradiInsurance.com to get in the game.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Liveman cleaning products make easy work of even the toughest messes. We carry everything to help you keep your home spotless. Get a $10 instant savings on a single qualifying purchase of $30 or more on Liveman products now through November 9th. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
When storms hit, you need more than just a roofer. You need the biggest and most reliable name in the Midwest, Shamrock Roofing. Shamrock Roofing has grown into the largest roofing company in the region, with local crews right here to serve you. For nearly 50 years, we've proven our strength, our size, and our promise to you to be here for every repair and roof replacement. And every roof is backed by our lifetime craftsmanship warranty. One call does it all. Visit shamrockroofer.com.
We don't do ordinary at Occidental Management. We pride ourselves on going beyond the typical commercial real estate relationship. Todd's Creole Kitchen, located in West Wichita at 13th and Tyler.
Our newly remodeled restaurant serves Cajun, American, and seafood, not to mention a great Sunday brunch. And don't forget to enjoy a Fontini, New Orleans-styled frozen daiquiri, or one of our 20 tap selections. Come celebrate your next special occasion or just a nice evening out.
Contact us today at 316-295-4260 or Todd's Creole Kitchen at gmail.com.
I'm old Jack Young. 143 here on a Tuesday. Pat is here. The poll's coming up here in a bit. The lyrics in this song make me laugh. This is a good song. This is a toe tapper.
Did I make enough noise for Jack?
I had you muted. He came in on little cat's feet today.
That's incorrect.
Breaking news.
Let's hear it.
No.
Yeah, let's hear it.
No.
Still my show.
No.
Oh, I did.
No.
You can text it to me.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm just kidding.
The Chiefs have acquired Breece Hall from the Jets for a 4th-round pick.
I'll be damned.
Holy cow. Sound the alarms.
Is that from
where did it come from?
Just saw it on ESPN right now, like the actual show.
Oh, really?
Right behind you.
Because I'm not seeing anything on Twitter. How is it that
I just saw it right behind you? Thank God for our 4 giant TVs.
Well, 13 minutes ago, Breece Hall just went ... with a tweet. So he must have gotten
Chargers got Rico Dowdle.
What?
You heard me? For a 5th rounder.
Good for the Chargers, I guess.
Yeah.
Your boy. Wow. Well,
huh.
Or wait. Oh, man, I just jumped the gun there.
Did you?
So this is unfortunate. I'll walk it back here. So
oh, my God. You gave everybody a heart attack.
No.
So ESPN is currently doing this right now up on the screen to the right of me. They have a bottom line where they're doing a segment saying which trades would make sense.
Yeah, that's the Rico Dowdle trade too. Yeah.
They said breaking Chiefs trade Breece Hall 4th-round pick.
Why would they word it like that?
I don't know.
That's stupid.
So I was thrown off.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have sound. All right, I apologize to everybody out there for the breaking news.
Jack jumped off sides, everybody.
I jumped.
The entire fan base here in Wichita going to be at Jack's doorstep here in a couple of hours.
It doesn't mean in the next hour and 14 minutes that it couldn't happen.
Like I said, Brees Hall did tweet, ... 13 minutes ago.
Okay.
And they have a little tiny thing. It's like Marcus says they should trade, like very small.
And then gigantic letters with the
Gigantic
trade.
letters.
Yeah.
It's hypothetical. I jumped the gun on that.
All right. Took the cheese.
That's my bad. I'll take that one.
I liked it though.
I did too. I don't think it's going to be a fourth rounder though. I feel like it'd have to be a third rounder.
Finger 11.
Yes.
All right. That was fun.
Boy, that was
a little tune up. Hour and 14 minutes left. You never know. Still could happen.
Oh,
now
man.
I hope it does happen, and we were first to it.
Yes.
Well, actually, Tom,
credit
well,
at Johnny J _15.
12 minutes ago,
Yes.
Tom Pelissero says Jets are not expected to trade Brees Hall.
Great.
Well, I was just telling and talking to Foot.
Sorry.
Like if
Sorry,
you're going to
Jack.
trade Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner, why wouldn't you? Unless you don't have any other running backs on the roster, I guess.
Well, if you're going to go full tank mode, go full tank mode.
I know. That's what he said.
Brees Hall, it's his final year. You and I were talking about the contract. Final year of his contract is this year. He's going to get a new contract. It's probably not going to be with the Jets. Spoiler alert. So if you want to load up on more picks, you already got 2 from the Colts. You get another one from the Cowboys for Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well get yourself another one for Brees Hall. But again, I don't know what, as you brought up for a 4th round pick, which I know that's, you were just watching. But the asking price, Diana Rossini just tweeted out that the asking price is a 3rd round pick for Brees Hall.
Why are you not willing to part ways with that? That's ridiculous. If so,
Yeah.
if it's a 3rd round pick and you say no to that, that is ridiculous.
Exactly. Because again, you get 2 first. Was Quinnen Williams? I haven't looked completely at the deal. What was Quinnen Williams? Was it a first round pick?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
First rounder involved.
There's another first rounder. Oh, and also 2nd rounder as well is what I see here from
That's right.
the NFL.
Next year's 2nd and 2027's first.
So you have hauled in 3 first, a 2nd. Why not get a 3rd? Why not go for one more if that's the case? Because there's no way in hell Brees Hall is going to sign again
And
with the
then
Jets.
Jets come draft day can flip a couple of picks,
Right.
Move up. And,
Move up the 1 if you badly want the quarterback or whatever you want,
Mhm.
or if you want to go select a defensive end or a running back like our boy from draft day, you can do that too, I suppose. But if your Bo Callahan's there, you get to save Jets football.
I don't need any Sonny slander on this show.
You know, I would hope if the Chiefs do not make a trade for a running back, I hope they never have somebody rush for over 50 yards in any game the rest of the way.
Well,
Just to
you're
prove the point.
probably pretty
Prove it.
safe in that.
Yeah.
I hope it's like ghastly bad if they don't acquire running back. I hope they never have anybody go over 40 yards then.
If not Brees Hall, then who? Rico Dowdle, I guess. I can answer my own question.
I mean,
Yeah, where'd you see? Did you see that on Sports?
Yeah,
Center,
the
too,
same
Rico
place
Dowdle?
you were watching.
Gosh,
Yeah,
that damn
Uh-huh.
whatever stupid ass segment that was.
Yeah, because I glanced over my right shoulder after you said that, and right just this long, I saw Brees Hall.
And I don't.
So that's where you got it from.
I'm not like I don't like the doubt Jack, but I'm like I don't see anything on Twitter.
Well, I thought with you saying no, I thought that you had seen it. Therefore, you were going to talk about it in the open.
That's what I thought.
It has to be true.
No.
Yeah.
No. I was just being, I didn't know what you really were alluding to. It was just me going, no, just as a blanket answer. Anyways, I'm old Jackson.
Indeed. November 4. It's today. Des Bryant, 37.
Cowboy.
Correct.
Both times, college and NFL.
Mm-hmm. Devin Hester, 43. Sorry.
Bear.
Yes. Hall of Famer.
Say if he's already 53.
No, he's 43. Vince Wilfork, 44.
Stop laughing.
Laughing at somebody else's malady.
Dying over here.
You guys, I will say this out of the credit because, I actually have an off button. Your guys' mics are incredible. That is some high-tech technology.
And he turned his off. That was from
Mhm.
mine. Yeah.
You talk about yeah.
Orlando Pace is 50.
Football.
Yes.
And your microphone's pointing that way.
Right.
I can't even put the blame that it's pointing this way.
No, I set facing Pat where my microphone is facing my mouth. Otherwise, it's even better, worse, depending on your view. Osvaldo Fernandez, 57.
Baseball.
Yes, very good. Anything else? What position?
Second base.
I thought you knew him. Pitcher. Giants pitcher. Carlos Baerga, 57.
Baseball.
That's right. Eric Karros, 58.
Was the Cubs first baseman in the Bartman game, but also a Dodger.
Very good, yeah.
And a broadcaster, actually. Very good.
That's right.
That.
Yep.
By the way, Jordan Schultz just reported 3 minutes ago. Brees Hall wants to be traded, I'm told.
He might get traded by the time the show's over. This show.
I feel he is going to get traded. I feel that's all a smokescreen if they're going to hang on to him because it makes no sense to.
Yeah, he just on Twitter, he had a GIF of, I don't know what movie it's from. I know, oddly enough, for a TV show. But like the GIF that he had was like right up against like a post, and like the guy's just rubbing the post back and forth. That one right there.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, I'm not either.
That's all right.
And then
I'm sure
he had the ... 15 minutes ago. So it seems like he's.
You know who they're going to acquire?
Go on.
The Chiefs are going to go get like Colin Saunders or something. It's going to be a former Chief that's not playing.
You know what's going to be funny? It's probably trade for Nick Allegretti. Or it's going to be for an offensive lineman, and like no one's going to be happy about it.
Right.
What's Andrew Wiley up to nowadays? Give him a call.
Mitchell Schwartz. Any football left in him?
Yeah, how's his back?
Even if it was, to be honest with you, your first round pick is always a second round pick, and your second round picks are always a third round pick, and your third round picks are always fourth round because you get to the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship game all the time.
Yeah, we know. Makes too much sense.
Like, God, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, the fact he loaded up on 3 first to second, like, might as well don't stop now. Like, why stop now? If you're gonna
field all the phone calls,
if you're going to treat this like Thanos and you're collecting infinity stones, then yeah, start going out there and trading away so you get more picks. What do you look at me
What's
like
this
that for?
Thanos you speak of?
Oh my gosh. I know you're not a
I don't get the reference.
Marvel guy.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't get the reference.
Okay.
Tito Francona, born on this day, now dead.
Baseball.
Yes. Terry's dead. Also born on this day, now dead, Dick Groat. Groat.
Great name.
Baseball.
That's right. Pittsburgh Pirate great. 8-time All-Star back in the day. Dang. I want Jack to be right so we can just talk about Brees Hall the whole. Although we kind of have anyway.
Well, it's not like I'm not going to. I mean, the lead off of the show with an hour to go before trade deadline.
Yep.
It's hard not to talk about what the Chiefs need and who's really out there.
Pat's actually going to go 1 hour straight. No commercials, just in case something happens.
Well, the good thing is Matt Derrick's actually going to be here in studio and sitting in this chair for this segment, so he'll be live and sound crystal clear.
So you got that worked out.
Yeah, he'll just sit in my chair and I'll just be somewhere else.
Okay, all right. He didn't tell me that.
When's that going down? What time?
2:25.
Right.
I texted him saying, "Hey, breaking news at 2:25?" That was my text to him.
Good one. Dead day. Sparky Anderson.
Baseball manager.
Correct. Also dead day, Denton True Young.
Baseball.
Yes. Nicknamed Cy. Cy Young made it to 88. Died of a heart attack.
Good run.
Yep. Especially in the 1800s. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Grover Cleveland Alexander. Walking out the door, Jack.
A baseball.
That's right. Hall of Fame. Very good. He died on this day in 1950. All right. Be listening for the very latest trade deadline. 1 hour and 4 minutes left to go. Stick around. Pulse is next.
Bye, Shane.
Goodbye.
Chiefs signed D Ford to their practice squad.
Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM, KKGQ, Newton.
The high school football playoffs continue on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM in the high school game of the week presented by Commerce Bank. The number 1 seed, Cape Crusaders, look to take down.
Okay, he's actually not going to be able to make it in person here.
Andover Central Jaguars in the high school.
What the hell?
On Friday,
He just got to me and said, it is a great idea. The trade deadline has screwed it up today, though. I just got in my car, so there's no way I'll make it before Pat's hit. Next week, I promise.
High school game of the week presented by Commerce Bank.
Yeah,
So I just am trying to clarify, and I said, so you'll still be over the phone?
Yeah, he just sent me a text. Today's breaking news. I'm late. Jack said I could do the hit in studio, but I am running late today, so I'll have to start next week in studio.
Tuesday, save 10% on $750 million. Wednesdays.
But that's cool. I didn't realize that he went in there with Saran Live, so I'm glad that we can do something like that. That's actually really nice.
Yeah, I think it's just new going forward, but he just confirmed it will be over the phone.
Yeah, that's good. Good with me.
With Superstore pricing. Each store independently owned and operated.
The future will be amazing, and that's all well and good. But what about today? You can feel the rush of a 400 horsepower Nissan Z, or climb to new heights in the all-terrain Nissan Frontier. Light up the road in the all-electric Nissan Aria that feels like a sci-fi dream come true. The future will be great, but today is made for thrill. All you have to do is get in a Nissan and drive. 2023 Aria and Z not yet available for purchase. Expected availability is this spring for 2023 Z and this fall for 2023 Aria.
If you're craving a taco with a touch of tradition, stop by Taco Pronto. Family owned and operated for 55 years, Taco Pronto makes all their food in-house using the freshest ingredients at prices you can't beat. Drive through today and take advantage of Taco Pronto's daily specials or grab a 12-pack of tacos for only $11.99. Taco Pronto, located at 8385 West 21st Street North, or order online at TacoProntoWichita.com.
Taco Pronto, old-fashioned service.
Why choose AR Roofing? For over 30 years, they've been serving Wichita families with roofs built to last. While other companies come and go, AR Roofing is here to stay. Right off Kellogg and West Street. They're not just building stronger roofs. They're protecting safer homes and giving you peace of mind. AR Roofing. On your side today, tomorrow, and for decades to come. Check them out online at arroofing.com. AR Roofing. Stronger roofs, safer homes. Always here in Wichita.
Hey, ESPN Wichita listeners, let's officially kick off November at Twin Peaks West. Meet us at the Lodge at Ridge and Taft starting at noon this Friday for some eats, drinks, and scenic views. We're back out west with Shane Dennis Show and The Pulse with Pat Strathman, rolling from noon to 4 this Friday, so come enjoy their scratch-made food, 29-degree drafts, and scenic views this Friday with ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM, Twin Peaks West, Ridge and Taft. Let's celebrate the weekend. We'll see you there.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Jets trading not one, but two stars on this NFL trade deadline day. Cornerback Sauce Gardner on his way to the Colts for 2 first-round picks, one in 2026, another in 2027, and receiver A.D. Mitchell. Gardner filling a need in Indy's cornerback room, explains ESPN NFL analyst Jeff Saturday.
You pair him back there with Cam Bynum, Kenny Moore, Travarius Ward when he gets back. You're talking about a very strong defensive backfield, maybe opportunities to play some man instead of just zone. We're seeing some of the best defenses when you have to do it to bring pressure. So maybe they're just thinking, hey, look, we got a shot at this thing.
The Jets also sending defensive end Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys for a 2026 first-round pick, 2027 first-rounder, and defensive tackle Maisie Smith. Dallas also got linebacker Logan Wilson from the Bengals for a 7th-rounder as it looks to bolster a defense that's among the NFL's worst. Raiders receiver Jacoby Myers got his wish granted. He is acquired by the Jaguars for a 2026 4th-round and 6th-round picks. Seahawks banged-up receiving core got a boost, got Rashid Shaheed from the Saints for 4th and 5th-round picks in 2026.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming out Wednesday, the Giants sit at 2-7 for the 3rd straight season. Jackson Dart has looked good, but is it enough to save Brian Daboll's job? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
You're listening to The Pulse with Pat Strathman on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Small town, big dreams, and a young boy the age of 15 had a premonition his city would get seen. Now I'm winning, get Sheen in the city of the home.
What's up, Wichita? Happy Tuesday. Happy opening day for you Wichita State fans. And also happy trade deadline day. Everyone locked into everything taking place in the NFL today. Lots of trades, but not one involving the Kansas City Chiefs. We have an hour to go, though. And if we have breaking news, of course, we will bring it right to you right here on the Pulse on Wichita's sports leader, ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Glad to have you here. Thanks for locking in here for this very special day. Shout out to those streaming. I know a lot of you are. ESPNWichita.com is one place to do that. Top right corner, you'll see the listen live option where a separate media player will pull up. You can also check out podcast on there. You can also do the same on the ESPN Wichita app. A lot of you maybe don't want to pull up another tab. You don't want to pull up another internet browser to listen, which is fine. Let the app do the work for you. The ESPN Wichita app has all sorts of lovely things on there. You can listen live. You can go back and listen to podcasts. Whatever is played here on the station, you can go back and find it because we have it all right there, all of them separated by show. We have links to our social media platforms. If you need to call in, like Bill from Lawrence during the Shane Dennis show, you can do that. If you want to check out our YouTube channel, we have a link to that on there. Everything in one location there on the ESPN Wichita app. Download it today, available on Apple and Android. You can also stream the show if you have a smart speaker. Those smart speakers can do a lot of things for you, including playing ESPN Wichita programming. Tell your smart speaker to tune into ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM or KKGQ. We are also video streaming. If you want to see my reaction to when the Chiefs do pull off a trade, we will have that reaction on video. Facebook, X. You can also see it on YouTube. Check out the video streaming on all those platforms if you would, please. I'm Pat Strathman. Jack Johnson is producing today. We do have lottery tickets to hand out for the day. Be ready to dial 316-669-4996. That's 316-669-4996. If you want to win lottery tickets, that's how you do that. If you want to win tickets to our ESPN Wichita movie night next Thursday at Boulevard Theaters at Old Town, we're going to be watching The Running Man next week. If that interests you, be ready to text when I tell you to. 316-247-0923. If you want to react to all of the news in the NFL today, hit us up. What should the Chiefs do? Can they do anything? Use the text line, please. 316-247-0923. Follow us on social media. That's another option, too. Let's just say you can't lock into us 24/7. I'm going to be the first to admit you probably don't listen to ESPN Wichita 24/7, and that's fine if you don't. That's okay. However, you can stay locked into your favorite teams by following ESPN Wichita on social media. Let's say you get done listening. Let's say here in the next 5 minutes you got to go to a meeting, but you still have access to your phone. I can guarantee you if the Chiefs make a trade, Chance is going to be on the ball and he's going to have a graphic right away. So if you want to stay locked into your favorite teams, follow us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram. Also check us out on YouTube as well. Coming up here in a little bit, Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. I sent him a message and I said, hey, so breaking news at 2:25. And he goes, that sounds lovely. Although he also did LOL. So we will see if Matt Derrick does have special news to share coming up at 2:25. He might not have anything to share, and that's fine if that's the case. But we will talk to him about trade deadline, Chiefs falling to the Bills, bye week this week. We'll address all those things with Matt Derrick, brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction. After that, I do want to talk a little bit about Wichita State basketball, specifically women's basketball from yesterday. Shockers ended up kicking off the season in style last night. We'll briefly talk about that. We will also have the burnt end of the hour trivia question. If you want to win $20 to Tanker Barbecue, be ready for that at the tail end of hour number 1. In the second hour, it's a Tuesday with Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle, presented by CBD American Shaman Wichita. We'll be out there 1 week from tomorrow. I'm not going to be in town 1 week from today, so I'm going to move it to next Wednesday. So make plans to join us at CBD American Shaman Wichita. Taylor brought to you by him and them. Taylor is probably pumped because basketball is officially here. Wichita State, UNC Asheville. We will talk to him about UNC Asheville and what he expects for game number 1. That's coming up at 3:02. 3:25, joining us at 3:25 is no one, because we're just going to talk KU basketball. KU basketball, then we'll talk KU taking down Green Bay last night. I was going to say, yes, Jack will join me, I suppose, as we'll break down Kansas and Green Bay last night inside Allen Fieldhouse. And at the very end of the show, a Take Two Tuesday. That's what we got for you today. It is November 4, 2025. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for being here. What's going to happen moving forward here for the Kansas City Chiefs? Well, that's a great question, isn't it? It is trade deadline day. Who do you want the Chiefs to go out there and get? I can probably figure out there's one guy that everyone wants in a Chiefs uniform, the obvious answer. But who's out there that Kansas City can really go out and get to improve their roster here for 2025? If you have thoughts, let me hear you at 316-247-0923. 0923. Send us a text, would you? Yeah, the whole Breece Hall thing. We have talked about that, haven't we? I said yesterday, after seeing how the Bills used James Cook, I wouldn't mind seeing a Breece Hall like that. However, I don't know if that's really going to be feasible. The Jets want a third-round pick, and I would imagine that's not a very high price tag. But keep in mind, Breece Hall, this is his final year for his deal with the New York Jets. So he theoretically would be a rental. You would have to try to talk to him about re-signing there with the Kansas City Chiefs. Everyone keeps making the connection. Hey, he's from Wichita. Everyone is wanting to see Breece Hall. But like I said about Breece Hall, Jordan Schultz saying he wants out of New York, doesn't want to be there with the Jets. Price tag is a third rounder. Seems like that would be an okay deal. But this is also Brett Veach we're talking about, who probably also understands the future there for the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe the goal is to, hey, well, we're still not going to just let Isaiah Pacheco just go away. We still got to use Pacheco, still got to use Brashard Smith. We still have options there. We still have those options. We don't need no Breece Hall. But after what we saw against the Buffalo Bills, they can certainly use an upgrade at the running back position. Defensive line-wise, I don't know where else you can go if you are Kansas City, because the New York Jets traded Quinnen Williams to the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys and their awful defense, they have done a great job in terms of just trying to rebuild that defense. They're 3-5-1. They added a couple of starters, including a Pro Bowl defensive tackle, Quinnen Williams. Cowboys gave up a second-round pick and a 2027 first-round pick and a defensive tackle to the Jets to complete the trade. Earlier in the day, Cowboys acquired linebacker Logan Wilson from the Cincinnati Bengals for a 2026 seventh-round pick. So the Cowboys are trying to shape up that defense a little bit more. Something else to bring up, too, for the Kansas City Chiefs. There's a couple other guys who are also off the market in terms of pass rushers, because to me, that's where I would go if I was Brett Veach. I would go in that direction. I would load up on your pass rush. That's what I would do, because there was very little against the Buffalo Bills. And yes, I understand Breece Hall, very attractive weapon. The running back room's giving you nothing, but the defensive line unit can use a little bit of a boost. Make no mistake about it. It can use a little bit of a boost. And you can sometimes find value with these defensive linemen that need it to be traded. There's another guy that the Chiefs very well could go after. I think we're talking about the Chiefs and Breece Hall. And I get why, because Breece Hall around these parts, everyone knows the name. I think that's a big reason for it. He's also a pretty talented tailback too. I'll give you that. But another guy for the Jets that Kansas City should be looking at if they can get a deal done would be for Jermaine Johnson. And Jermaine Johnson, I think, has also been vocal on social media. Him and Breece Hall, I think, are both very unhappy there in New York. Well, Jeremy Fowler just tweeted out about 30 minutes ago that the spotlight is on the Jets in the final 75 minutes of the deadline after two massive deals. Teams say New York wants a second-round pick for edge Jermaine Johnson. Would you want Kansas City to give up a second to go after a guy like Jermaine Johnson? I think that is a guy who would fit quite well in Kansas City. He's 26 years old. I'd have to double check his contract just to see all the stuff there. I believe he's got one more year on his deal. He actually has one more year on his deal. It would be a club option, and the base salary would be $13.4 million. That would be the cap hit as well if the Chiefs were to go after him. Then in 2027, he becomes an unrestricted free agent. But by then, Kansas City could get another deal done for a guy like Jermaine Johnson, who this year has 11 tackles and a sack. Last year, didn't do all that much in 2024. In 2023, he had 7.5 sacks. A second-round pick for Jermaine Johnson seems rather high for a guy who really hasn't really been dominant, I suppose, as a pass rusher. But that's one name that you can still look out for if you are the Kansas City Chiefs. That's one guy you can still look out for. They could have gone after a Tennessee Titan. You have Draymond Jones. He ends up being shipped off to the Ravens for a 2026 conditional fifth rounder. Jalen Phillips was shipped off to the Eagles for a 2026 third rounder. I don't know what else is out there that can help you from a defensive line standpoint. The only guy that comes to my mind is Jermaine Johnson. And I don't know. I just think that there needs to be more of an emphasis on the pass rush than the running back as of right now, to me. Now, my opinion could vary from yours, and that's fine. I just think when I look at the Chiefs' offense, you have all the wide receivers intact. Your offensive line is the one group that needs to get healthy. Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. Sure, a tailback would be helpful, but how often have we seen the Chiefs go after a late addition at running back and it's panned out for them? They took their shot at LaShawn McCoy. They have tried all sorts of things. What was it? They had the guy from Tampa Bay that they tried, and it didn't seem to pan out for the most part. So they have gone after tailbacks before, but none of them have been able to stick. How do we know that bringing in Breece Hall is going to completely change that offense? Because to me, offensive line-wise, you still got to get better in that position, and you still have to just get healthier at that position. I would go over to the defensive line spot where I still think that there are issues there up front for Kansas City. The lack of pass rush is going to hurt the Chiefs, I think, in the long run. While it's important to also score from your 1 yard line by running the football, that's very, very important. Don't get me wrong. Very, very important. You got to have that pass rush. You saw what the Buffalo Bills were able to do against Kansas City this past weekend. And it's not like Bosa is a spring chicken. It's not like he's 24 years old dominating people. He's in the later part of his career, and you saw the amount of success that he had. That's what defensive linemen can bring to the table. But I feel like a second-round pick for Jermaine Johnson seems rather high. And based on what I know about Brett Veach, I don't think he is willing to completely sacrifice the future just so he can make an improvement here for just 1 year. And let's also just take a look at the previous history for the Chiefs in terms of what they've been able to do, right? So the aggression for Brett Veach, not really well documented in recent seasons. Okay, you have Veach chasing players like DeAndre Hopkins and Joshua Uche. What did they do? Hopkins maybe a little effective, but when they made the trade for the pass rushing linebacker in Uche, what happened? Nothing happened. You didn't do anything. You basically just threw a draft pick away is what happened. In 2022, the Chiefs traded away cornerback Rashad Fenton to the Falcons for spare parts while bringing in a wide receiver by the name of Kadarius Toney. And what was the biggest pre-deadline splash to date for Brett Veach? In 2021, they ended up getting pass rusher Melvin Ingram. That was the big mid-season prize for the Chiefs. Before that season, though, Brett Veach has really stood pat at the league's trade deadline. He took over the position from John Dorsey before 2017, which means 4 deadlines came and went without a meaningful move from Brett Veach. Now, we've all seen Chiefs football games. We want to see them do something because there are obviously problems with the Kansas City Chiefs. You need to fix the running back room. You need to fix the pass rush or lack thereof. You need to fix those things. And this is typically where you can get some value. If you can bring in Breece Hall, that would help. I just continue to look over on the defensive side of the ball and just go, man, they need that help from pass rush. But I don't know what else is out there outside of Jermaine Johnson. I don't know if I would want to trade a second-round pick for him. That's where you got to hope that the Jets, as you inch closer to the 3 o'clock deadline, that's where you hope that the Jets, their offer or their price tag comes down. For Breece Hall, for a 3rd-round, 4th-round pick, that might be worth a flyer. And then in the offseason, you can figure out some things. Maybe you realize, okay, Isaiah Pacheco's not in anymore, so let's sign Breece Hall to a long-term deal. Might cost you some money, and that's the challenge here with anything. When you pull off a deal, okay, you get a rental, but can you actually retain that guy in the offseason? Because you can't pay everyone, guys. This isn't Major League Baseball where there's no salary cap. There's a salary cap. Brett Veach has done a magnificent job of exploiting it, it feels like every year. But there's a salary cap that you still have to abide by. You can't just go out there and just load up on the best player every single year and just bring in everyone and just make one of the most all-time, the greatest teams ever. You can't do that. The salary cap is there to prevent such things. That's why you got such a big cap hit there for Patrick Mahomes and so on and so forth. Now, in the offseason, you can deal with that too. You could just restructure things and continue to kick the can down the road. That's how you're able to keep the Super Bowl championship window open. That's how you continue to do it. But in terms of what's available right now ahead of the trade deadline, you have Rico Dowdle, who I guess would be something to look out for. I just think the Panthers are going to want to hang on to him. You look at Breece Hall, he wants out. A 3rd or 4th round pick doesn't seem all that bad, but is he alone going to correct the offensive line woes of them being banged up? Is he going to correct the pass rush? I don't think that's going to be the case there. So I'm really curious to see if Kansas City can pull something off, because we are less than an hour away, and the Jets have definitely had a fire sale, but so far, Breece Hall wants to be traded. Seems like Jermaine Johnson wants to be traded as well. But Albert Breer just tweeted out that the Jets have been looking for a 2nd-round pick for Johnson, 3rd-round pick for Breece Hall, and he put at the very end of the tweet, we'll see if they get either price. And maybe the Jets don't. And maybe they stick with what they got. Which just seems strange, though, because you just got done pulling off. You just got done pulling off a trade. You get 2 trades, actually. 3 firsts and a 2nd. So you're already loading up on draft picks for the future. Why not add a 3rd-round pick and a 4th-round pick with Breece Hall, I suppose, if the Chiefs are calling? But they might not be the only ones calling too, for that matter. I'm sure there are some other suitors as well that can lean them. 316-247-0923. And that's why Veach and Spags keep that defense going. Cheaper rookie contract, saves money for offensive weapons. I like to see the Chiefs make a trade, but I'm doubtful that the Chiefs will. Cheaper rookie contracts. You hit the nail on the head, Texter. Mahomes doesn't have a rookie deal. Those rookie deals for quarterbacks, they are very, very helpful. Not when you have a guy who's making as much money as Patrick Mahomes. A little bit different. 316-247-0923. Keep the text messages rolling in. Jack, what's even out there for the Chiefs that you want to see happen? Is it just Breece Hall or bust? Is that where we're at right now for the Chiefs?
I'm not sure if it's Breece Hall or bust, but they have to get a difference maker. I don't know why you'd be, clinging on to your 3rd and 4th round picks. Look, they can become something. You've certainly hit on them in the past, but that's why you have to have confidence in being able to make the most out of the picks you would have. Breece Hall, maybe a situation where you do trade for him and maybe you do give him a contract, before he hits free agency by the end of the year. But I feel you need that dynamic running back. They need to have that threat out of the backfield, and I really do feel that Breece Hall can thrive in this offense. And if we get to 3 o'clock and nothing's happened, well, you better hope that somebody in that running back room really emerges, because you can't go another season where you're getting absolutely nothing from your running back room.
Yeah, Breece Hall, in case you're wondering, final year of his contract. He's 24 years old, $3.4 million, unrestricted free agent after this year. So he can do whatever he wants. I would feel like, though, if he ends up in Kansas City, he would be motivated to stay there in Kansas City. What would a contract extension look like for Breece Hall? That would be the other question mark as well. How much would it cost there to keep him there in Kansas City? But we will see if the Chiefs truly get something done. I hope that once we get the Matt Derrick, as soon as he gets on air, I hope that there's breaking news for him. Saquon Barkley for a 4th rounder. Yeah, it sounds great. Surely the Eagles wouldn't pass up on that opportunity. 316-247-0923. Another texter just texted, I think, safety first, if you can get one cheap and good enough. That's another intriguing point too there, texter. It's probably one group that we don't talk about enough, because you see Justin Reed go away. What happened in the game against the Bills? You had linebackers lining up against those tight ends for the Buffalo Bills, and they struggled. Justin Reed would have done a little bit better if that was the case. 316-247-0923. Kareem Hunt is getting too old. When's the last time Pacheco played a full season? Yep. The fact is, he's often injured. It just makes sense to go get Breece Hall. But you're also talking about a Chiefs team. Again, what have they done to their running back room? They invested with a 1st-round pick in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But other than that, what else have they done? They have always gone after the cheap, the incredible value that's there. They have always done that under Brett Veach, and it really hasn't worked. So you could make the argument, okay, that didn't work, Brett. Now you got to change it. Keep the messages rolling in. We'll see what Matt Derrick thinks from ChiefsDigest.com. Matt Derrick joins us when we return.
This is The Pulse on Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
This football season, Boulevard Theaters at Old Town is your ultimate game day destination. Catch every big play on the big screen with booming surround sound, comfy seats, and zero distractions. Bring your KC crew, grab an ice-cold drink, and fuel up on fan-favorite food like pizza, wings, and more. It's a watch party you don't want to miss, and it's free every week. KC football on the big screen at Boulevard Theaters at Old Town, where football hits different.
Dirty exterior? Don't scrub it. Wet it and forget it. Wet and Forget, the easy outdoor cleaner. Wet and Forget works over time with Mother Nature to eliminate unsightly black and green stains on the exterior of your home with no scrubbing, power washing, or bleach. Use Wet and Forget on all your outdoor surfaces, including decks, siding, roofs, and patios. Wet and Forget's available in a concentrate or extreme reach hose-in. Purchase Wet and Forget in store or online at Lowe's, Menards, Ace, or Walmart.
This Thanksgiving morning, before the turkey and pumpkin pie, join us for a tradition that gives back. Grace Med's Say Grace 5K race. Walk, jog, or run with friends and family through Midtown Wichita, all while supporting Grace Med Health Clinic, bringing affordable care to those who need it most. Register today for the Say Grace Thanksgiving Day 5K presented by Strive Bank and ESPN Wichita. Visit saygracerace.com.
Since 1886, it's been the two words we live by and the chant we live to cheer. Be here all season as the Jayhawks hit the turf.
Touchdown, Kansas!
Join us this Saturday as the Jayhawks head to Tucson for a desert showdown with Arizona. Our coverage begins at 1 on your home for Kansas Jayhawk football.
The Jayhawks play here. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Couple of things here as I turn and look on our lovely video stream. I'm going to throw up a couple comments. First off, Blake chiming in earlier the day during the Shane Dennis show. I want to make sure he gets rewarded, though. You'd be shocked if Breece Hall wasn't traded in the next couple of hours. Keeping him proves nothing. And then we just had someone from X. We don't get too many comments from there. Thank you. I'm not sure if we get Breece, but if we do, I'd be shocked. I'd be so hyped. Well, I said Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com will join the show with breaking news. So let's see if he's got any. He's brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Hit by the recent storm, Shamrock Roofing has local crews ready to help you right here, right now. For nearly 50 years, they have proven that they will be here for you. One call does it all. Visit shamrockroofer.com today. All right, Matt, I told everyone that you would arrive with breaking news. So come on, hit me. What did the Chiefs do?
I mean, I don't have anything for you yet, Pat. I mean, I think the only thing I think I told you is that I'm late. So that's breaking news right there.
That's good enough for me. That was breaking news, by the way. It was also breaking news too. I know we've talked about you being in studio, and Jack's like, yeah, no, Matt is actually going to be here in studio. I'm like, oh, cool. Psych. Actually, he's actually running a little bit late because of the deadline. So what's out there for the Chiefs? Honestly, let's start with that. I just got done talking about the options that are there. If you're looking for a pass rush help, you can look to the Jets because Jermaine Johnson's there, but a second-round pick is probably a little bit too rich, I would suppose, for the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think maybe a little rich. Then there's Breece Hall, also from the Jets. Of course, everyone around here in Wichita, they want the former Northwest Grizzly to be in a Chiefs uniform because that would just drive up ticket sales. Well, not ticket sales, but that would drive up apparel sales. I know that for sure if there's a Breece Hall Chiefs jersey. But outside of that, I don't know what else is out there for the Chiefs because all of the big ones that could have been linked to the Chiefs, they're gone. So realistically, what's out there for Kansas City as we approach a trade deadline, which is coming up here in 31 minutes?
Yeah, not a whole lot. I mean, at least if you're looking for a splashy addition. And, I've got my alerts turned on, Pat. So if if I start to get a phone call or a text, I'll look just so I can give you some breaking news. At this point, I'm just getting nonsense Snapchat, alerts. So nothing exciting there. But no, I mean, and then after deals get done, you then start to hear the Chiefs were involved in that rumor mill, but couldn't get it done. I'm not sure. I don't know if the Chiefs were really involved with Quinnen Williams to the point of maybe trying to swing that. There were some other deals. I mean, all along, it always seemed like the Chiefs would be shopping, maybe not at the dollar store, but at least, Target or Walmart. They weren't going to Macy's. Maybe trying to get something on Amazon, but it wasn't going to be necessarily a splashy move, but there's still a couple of guys out there that I think you could at least say would be significant upgrades. And you mentioned, two of them right there. I mean, Breece Hall continued to be rumored to the Chiefs and possibility that they're into those discussions. And I don't think a third would be a terrible move. I mean, I still would have concerns about any skill player that comes into the Chiefs offense because I think it's a difficult offense to pick up in a short period of time. Running back, maybe that's the one position where you can just say, hey, Brees, go this way. And you don't have to worry about the play calls and the language and terminology as much as you would have to for like a receiver. Jermaine Johnson, yeah. Then, you get down to the category of would the Chiefs be interested in Arden Key or Calais Campbell and, trying to pry those guys out. I'm not sure that Arizona's completely given up the hopes, even though they're 3-5, and I think it probably should give up hope. But that's the other part of the problem is that there's a lot of teams that still think that they're in this thing and they're buying, not selling, and that just makes even more problems if you're a team like the Chiefs trying to get something done.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because considering that point right there, the Dallas Cowboys, whose defense was just porous for many weeks now, what do? They go after Quinnen Williams. They go after a linebacker from Cincinnati. So they're obviously trying to shore up some things, and they're 3-5-1. But they still feel like they're in it at 3-5-1, which is really strange. But that is the reality. If the Chiefs were to land Brees Hall, would that really solve all the problems for the Kansas City Chiefs from an offensive standpoint?
It would be interesting. And, and to me, the scary thing about it is that obviously right now he's a rental player, doesn't have a deal for next year, could be a free agent. Obviously you could slap a franchise tag, but either way, potentially an expensive running back. But what if he comes in and you see enough that you're like, yeah, this is a guy who's explosive enough that he adds that multi-dimensional element that the Chiefs are lacking right now. No one is respecting the Chiefs run game. They're showing, light boxes against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs either can't or are refusing to run the football against them. That's frustrating. I think if you're a Chiefs fan, I think it's probably frustrating if you're Andy Reid and Matt Nagy and Patrick Mahomes. They need a more explosive piece. I still don't understand why they haven't given Rashard Smith more of an audition for that position. But if they're not going to, then maybe you need to go out and get a piece. And like I said, I still have concerns about skill players coming into an Andy Reid offense and picking things up enough. But would Brees Hall be a guy that you would also consider, hey, wait a minute, if we're giving a third-round pick for this guy, are you going to try and sign him long-term maybe?
Well, see, and that was the next question I would have for you. If they do pull it off, Brees Hall, his contract is over at the end of the year. He's an unrestricted free agent. So obviously, theoretically, you would think that if the Chiefs were to pull it off, they would almost have to sign him immediately. But they don't really want to do that, obviously, because of, well, they probably still want their guys to pan out with Pacheco and Rashard Smith, right?
Well, and that's the thing. If you go out and get a running back, I think you're the Chiefs. You are saying that the Isaiah Pacheco era is over.
Sure.
He's not necessarily your short yardage guy for the future. I'm not sure Kareem is your short yardage guy for the future. If you're going to pay Brees Hall, you could go and acquire him and pay him $10 million plus for the future. He's going to be your third down. He's going to be everything. He's going to be all back on the field all the time. So you're going to go out and get him. You can, then you could pair him up with Rashard Smith going forward, and maybe a third guy somewhere around the point. Maybe you just keep Elijah Mitchell around for the next 15 years for no reason. I don't know. But it opens up some possibilities. But then, hey, if you commit to that, you decide, hey, you're going to keep Brees Hall. Well, I think you have at that point absolutely said to yourself financially, you're probably not keeping Trent McDuffie. So, the Chiefs, it's an interesting jigsaw puzzle you're trying to put together.
See, and you bring up another point, and that is you can't pay everyone. That's not how this works. You can't pay everyone. No. That's not how this works. And that's one thing I keep going back to. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Trent McDuffie or Brees Hall? And I think that's a fair question. Who would you rather have in that instance? And you can make an argument for either or all you want, but I don't know. You probably see more value with Trent McDuffie considering the other corners haven't exactly developed as much as you would like, right? There seems to be more weapons on the offensive side of the ball compared to what you have on the defensive side of the ball. At least that's where I stand on it. So that's the aspect you got to play too. You got to play that game. And also too, we also understand that Steve Spagnuolo and them and Brett Veach, they like cheap rookie contracts because guess what? They're cheap. And you can do a lot of things with those guys. And they're younger, which is why, like I sit here and the more I think about it, the more I think that we're not going to see a Chiefs trade. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it's going to be that splashy one that everyone's talking about. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, and that's where it gets, even more murky and tricky. And why, hey, to your point, we may not see a splashy trade. I mean, we're 24 minutes away and nothing's done yet. So it gets more likely that nothing will get done. But, let's talk, briefly about the Trent McDuffie thing. I mean, if you make that deal and let's say you acquired Breece Hall. Well, if you sign him, you're going to keep him, which case, like you said, you probably can't afford then to pay Trent McDuffie. So you would be smart to trade Trent McDuffie before he becomes untradeable or hits free agency. And you're trying to trade him off of a franchise tag. I mean, trade him when he still has some team control. And next year, he's still going to be cheap for how good Trent McDuffie is in that fifth-year option.
Mm-hmm.
You could get a haul back. So it wouldn't necessarily be that, do you want Breece Hall or Trent McDuffie? It would probably be, do you want Breece Hall and the draft picks that you would get for Trent McDuffie instead of Trent McDuffie? And hey, you know what? If you did acquire Breece Hall and you decide you don't want to keep him, he's probably going to sign a decent free agent contract. He could probably get you a fourth or a fifth comp pick next year. So, it's not necessarily you're giving up a third round pick. You might end up, just giving up a third and getting a fifth back. I mean, it's not a zero sum deal, but those are the tricky things that Brett Veach and his staff are trying to figure out and make sense of right now.
Someone just texted saying that the Chiefs, well, Brashard Smith is the Jerick McKinnon. Now the Chiefs can go after Jamal Charles, aka Breece Hall. I'm sorry. Did you forget how good Jamal Charles was back in the? No offense against Breece. I think Breece is really good, but Jamal Charles was something, guys. I don't think we need to go down that rabbit hole. But I get what you're saying, Texter. I understand. I get what you're saying. Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com joining us here on the Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Man, here we are talking a lot about the trade deadline. We didn't spend a single second talking about the Buffalo Bills game. I guess we should talk about that game that took place in Buffalo with Kansas City losing 28-21. Definitely issues with the Chiefs trying to cover the tight ends, especially in that football game. James Cook ran for over 100 yards on the ground. There was a lot to like if you're a Buffalo fan, but not exactly the case for Kansas City. Chiefs were banged up going into that game with that offensive line group. Turns out that ended up hurting them in that football game as well. What was your overall takeaway after that 28-21 ball game in favor of Buffalo?
Yeah, I wasn't as glass half empty as I think most people were, and those Chiefs.
Come on, you never are half glass empty. You never are. You're always positive.
I can be. I look at the 5-4 record, and I see a little bit of half empty there. But I also see that the Chiefs don't have another game on the schedule the rest of the way tougher than Buffalo, and they lost to Buffalo on the road by 7. That's not a bad loss. And I've also seen this rodeo before. The Chiefs lose to Buffalo every season, and what happens in January? Well, they beat Buffalo. At this point, Buffalo is the best scout team in the league for the Kansas City Chiefs, because every year the Chiefs face Buffalo in November, December, sometimes in October. They expose all the weaknesses that the Chiefs have, because this is the most important game on the schedule for Buffalo. The Chiefs don't. What is the most important game for the Chiefs? The most important game for the Chiefs is the Super Bowl. The second most important is the AFC Championship game. Their most important regular season game isn't until like the 4th or 5th game of the season. That's the biggest game. That's just not how this team thinks. And I've seen a lot of people talking about the fact that they didn't see a lot of originality, maybe in the Chiefs' offense, especially in the run game. But no duh. That's what the Chiefs do. If Andy Reid's got something that he thinks is going to knock down the Buffalo Bills, you think he's going to give it away for free in Week 9? No. He's going to hold on to that for dear life until January. Once again, I don't say that he's sandbagging. I don't think he's trying to lose this game. I just think that the win in the war is more important than winning the battle. And if he thinks he's got something that's going to work against Buffalo, he's not going to put it on film in Week 9. So I think that every year this game, it means more to Buffalo than it does to Kansas City. And inevitably, that's what's their undoing in the postseason, is that this game's more important to them than the one in January.
Well, I was going to say, you saying that you're not glass half empty like most people. I was just going to say, how do you look at it? The Chiefs played poorly, and they still had 2 Hail Mary attempts to tie that game. Or are you looking at it from, well, Buffalo played their game, and yet the Bills, I guess the Chiefs were fortunate to only be down by a touchdown at that point in the game. I think that was kind of my takeaway too, was just looking at the game going, well, as bad as Kansas City played with a banged-up offensive line that went into it not being healthy anyways, I was just amazed that they were within 7 at that point, considering how bad that they were playing in that football game.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider the fact that Creed Humphrey was the only healthy offensive lineman that you ended the game with, and then you just look at the two quarterbacks. Josh Allen played a nearly perfect, flawless football game. I mean, I don't know how many times did the ball hit the turf? Not that many.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Patrick Mahomes had the lowest passing percentage of his completion percentage of his career. I mean, those are two extremes. That's not going to happen in January. That's a little bit of an oddity. And again, I mean, I think that's a little bit of a result of the play calling. It's a little bit of just the circumstances. I just don't think those circumstances are going to be the same in January. And we also know that, hey, Patrick Mahomes has another notch that he dials it up to. He takes it up to 11 in January. But I don't know. I mean, were there things about that game that concerned me? Absolutely, because that offense did not consistently look like the same one that we saw the last 3 weeks. So that's a little concerning. That's a little frustrating, especially because other than the crowd, that was about as mild of game in Buffalo you're ever going to get. It was like in the 50s and no wind. I mean, maybe that's what freaked them out. I don't know, but that's about the best you can get.
Well, the Chiefs, they do get a chance to relax and I guess focus on things. Where is your level of concern right now for this Kansas City Chiefs team being 5-4? I just had a texter, Jeff, who pretty positive. Jeff is a Broncos fan, but I could be wrong. But that game, when you look at Buffalo, and we mentioned how that game is really the Super Bowl for the Buffalo Bills. They really want that one really bad. And guess what? They got it again. Congratulations. But I look at that game going, well, there goes the 1 seed. And that would have been a long shot anyways had Kansas City even still won it. But there goes the 1 seed. The most important thing is now there's really that pressure of you have to win really in Denver. At least it feels that way to me, because if you lose that one, then holy smokes, then you're really in trouble. So I guess what level of concern are you at as of right now with this Chiefs team being at 5-4?
I mean, if you're like just talking about the Chiefs making the playoffs, my level of concern, I mean, it's maybe barely a 2. Just because, I mean, 10-7 has consistently made the playoffs in the AFC in this 17-game era. 9-8 is going to make the playoffs at some point. If it hasn't happened yet, I can't remember. 8-9 is going to make the playoffs because 7-9 used to make the playoffs. So it's going to happen on occasion. So, hey, just making the playoffs, being the 7 seed, that's not a concern. I mean, is it a little concern because you've lost a tiebreaker to some teams like Jacksonville that might be in that position? Sure. But you've got, 4 AFC West games still in front of you. You win all 4 of those, chances are you're winning the AFC West. I mean, the only thing that really is, maybe a problem there is that you are 3 games behind the Broncos. You could gain 2 on them head to head. So you would need them to lose at least another game or 2. And their schedule is pretty rotten. I mean, it's even more rotten than the Chiefs' schedule is. So that's a concern. The Colts, I mean, they kind of got exposed a little bit by the Steelers this week. I think they're going to get exposed more. Again, the Chiefs can take the tiebreaker from them, beating them in a couple of weeks. And that case, you're feeling good. But then you start looking at the rest of that Colts schedule, and it's pretty putrid. But the Colts have really 2013 Chiefs vibes to me. Really, going out there with a new coach and new quarterback. But Danny Dimes is not a 13-4 quarterback. That's just not going to happen. So I still think, but the Colts for sure come back to the pack. We've seen teams before in the AFC West blow 3-game leads on the Chiefs with less time to play than this. So I still, and this, some of it, Pat, is that I am not the biggest believer in Bo Nix. I'm a much bigger believer in Sean Payton than I am in Bo Nix. So I think that there's going to be some stumbling there too. I mean, could the Chiefs run the table the rest of the way with the schedule that they have in front of them? Sure, because I don't think there's a game on the schedule that is tougher than all of their losses, except for Jacksonville. I still can't explain Jacksonville.
Right.
So that's still a problem. But their schedule is that weak. So I feel like that, hey, winning out, going 8-0 the rest of the way wouldn't stun me. Could they, but a 7-1 fine? Is 6-2 fine? Yeah. I mean, both of those I think are going to get you into the playoffs.
All right, Matt. Well, I was hoping that there would be some breaking news during this 20-minute interview, but we got nothing. So what good are you?
I know my one phone call was a spam call, so I don't know what to do.
How do you know it wasn't Brett Veach calling from a different line? Come on. How come you don't know that? Oh boy. Well,
I'm hoping Pat, Brett Veach isn't calling from an 800 number or something. So
yeah, well, if that's the case, maybe just for him himself. All right, Matt, always a pleasure chatting with you. Thanks for being a part of the show. We'll see you next week.
Sounds great, Pat. Take care, my friend.
All right, Matt Derrick at ChiefsDigest.com. Brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Let's go ahead and, well, do I want to do it now or should I leave it for hour number 2? You know what? Let's just do it. Let's do it now because I just have a feeling in hour number 2 we might just forget about it. You want to win $30 to Kansas lottery tickets? Call in now at 316-669-4996. Be caller number 5 to win $30 in winter cash bonus. It's courtesy of the Kansas Lottery. If you haven't joined the Play On program yet, you should definitely change that because you can win some awesome stuff when it comes to that. 316-669-4996. Be caller 5 to win $30 in Kansas Lottery tickets. When we return, our burnt end of the hour trivia question, and we'll look back at what took place last night. That's next on The Pulse.
You're tuned into The Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Protect your playbook and your business with Red Axe Shredding. From paper to hard drives, they securely destroy it all. From home offices to large businesses, Red Axe offers secure on-site and off-site shredding you can trust. Fast, affordable, and 100% confidential. Call Red Axe Shredding today at 316-869-2215 or visit redaxe.co. Trust the pros. Shred with Red Axe.
Today on Hey Culligan Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener. Here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you. So your water stays soft, and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Nachos! Yeah, your nachos!
Hey, I'll take some.
Great. And some Frank's Red Hot.
Oh, nah, I'm good.
Oh, you're just going to eat these dry, plain, boring nachos with no Franks. Oh, seriously? Frank it up. Frank it up. Come on, lady. Frank it up. Frank it up. Frank it up. Yeah! Yeah, this guy finally gets it. Hey, look, we're on the Jumbotron.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart, and I have a question for you. You know that unwelcome guest everyone wishes would just leave already? That's COVID-19. That's why I got an updated booster designed to help protect against recent
Kyle Wright.
Omicron variants. Got it?
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Check eligibility and schedule your updated COVID booster at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
When storms hit, you need more than just a roofer. You need the biggest and most reliable name in the Midwest, Shamrock Roofing. Shamrock Roofing has grown into the largest roofing company in the region, with local crews right here to serve you. For nearly 50 years, we've proven our strength, our size, and our promise to you to be here for every repair and roof replacement. And every roof is backed by our lifetime craftsmanship warranty. One call does it all. Visit shamrockroofer.com.
Are you looking for the perfect blend of football and betting insight? What Are the Chances has you covered live every Sunday at the FanDuel Sportsbook inside the Kansas Star Casino at 11 a.m. Each week, we break down the biggest games, hottest lines, and smartest plays to keep you in the know before kickoff. It's everything you need to stay ahead of the action. It's What Are the Chances? Only at the Kansas Star Casino, 11 a.m. every Sunday on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Well, you have an update on Breece Hall. He deleted one of his tweets. He deleted the ... tweet that everyone was retweeting. Got deleted. So I don't know what that means. Maybe everything's fine. Maybe he's about to be traded. Maybe he's about to be a Chief. I don't know. I just have a tough time believing it's going to happen, honestly. 8 minutes to go before the trade deadline. We'll see if anything happens. We will do our best to keep you updated in hour number 2. We do have Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle. After that, we do have KU basketball to talk about. And at the very end of Take Two Tuesday, who knows, maybe there will be a deal right before the horn. But I just have a feeling it's probably not going to happen. And I know that might anger a lot of you, which is totally fine. But that's the beauty of sports. We all can have an opinion, and that's just how it goes. That running back room desperately needs some help. But Matt Derrick did just bring a point. Well, do you want Breece Hall? Do you want Trent McDuffie? Because that's where I keep going back to. It's can you really pay everyone? I don't know if you can truly pay everyone. Actually, I do know. You can't. That's what the salary cap's for. Not saying you should try to get better. The one thing they tried to get better at this past offseason was the offensive line. And on the surface, when they're healthy, everything looks better on that front. So one step at a time. You just can't build a superstar team, I suppose. Still have plenty of weapons. And without Breece Hall, you still had a chance to win the game against Buffalo. So we'll see if anything gets done here in the next couple of minutes. If that's the case, we will certainly let you know. Before we get to Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle, let's get to our burnt end of the hour trivia question brought to you by Tanker Barbecue. Got a text saying that they have a brisket soup. Did I see that correctly? Brisket vegetable soup with grilled cheese. That sounds lovely. Unfortunately, they're at Tanker Barbecue. Got to say, it's still, it's not that cold enough for me to get over there and do it. I'm sorry. I'll go over there for many other things, though, for Tanker Barbecue, like their wings. They have mouth-watering specials like bacon wrap meatloaf, Slider Saturday, much more. Head on over to Tanker Barbecue. Find them at 620 West Maple, open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 until 7. Tanker Barbecue, refuel your tank at Tanker Barbecue. Text your guesses to 316-247-0923. If you are the first to get this trivia question correct, you will take home $20 to Tanker Barbecue. Jack, what is our burnt end of the hour trivia question for the day?
So as we know, Kansas and North Carolina will play on Friday. And here is going to be the question, and it's going to be one of the tougher ones we've had before. So we know they have not played in Chapel Hill since the early 80s, and they played last year in Lawrence. But prior to that matchup in Lawrence, they had played in 5 different cities, not in Lawrence or North Carolina. So 5 consecutive meetings in 5 different cities. Can you tell me what 5 cities KU and North Carolina played each other played against each other in? So there were 5 different cities prior to their matchup in Lawrence last year that they had head-to-head games against.
So 5 different cities for North Carolina and Kansas away from Lawrence and Chapel Hill. Got that correct, right? I think I said that correctly.
So just tell me the 5 cities KU North Carolina played each other in prior to that matchup in Lawrence.
All right, prior to the matchup in Lawrence. There you go. All right, well, I wonder. Get your text in now, 316-247-0923. I need you to guess the 5 cities prior to the matchup in Lawrence. The 5 cities for North Carolina and Kansas. Text your guesses to 316-247-0923. Adam said, oh, hell no, for 5. Well, maybe I will change it up. Maybe I'll be nice. Just throw out your guesses. Do your best. 316-247-0923 for $20 to take your barbecue. Hour 2 begins with Taylor Eldridge when we return.
Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM, KKGQ, Newton. Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Yeah, listen, I've got a good locker room there, so rest up and they'll come back strong. So, that's what we do.
We got to be more consistent as a team. I got to be more consistent as a quarterback. Got to run from it fast. And it's going to be an uphill battle when we get back, but I think our guys are up to it.
Wichita's home for Chiefs coverage, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart, and I have a question for you. You know that unwelcome guest everyone wishes would just leave already? That's COVID-19. That's why I got an updated booster designed to help protect against recent Omicron variants. Got it? Check eligibility and schedule your updated COVID booster at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
The future will be amazing, and that's all well and good. But what about today? You can feel the rush of a 400-horsepower Nissan Z, or climb to new heights in the all-terrain Nissan Frontier. Light up the road in the all-electric Nissan Aria that feels like a sci-fi dream come true. The future will be great, beautiful. But today is made for thrill. All you have to do is get in a Nissan and drive. 2023 Aria and Z not yet available for purchase. Expected availability is this spring for 2023 Z and this fall for 2023 Aria.
Today on Hey Culligan, smart home, smarter water softener.
Oh, man,
Here's
someone
Kevin.
put Honolulu in here.
Get a smart water softener, lift those heavy
Probably
salt
thought
bags
the
for me.
Maui
Kevin, it can.
Invitational.
Yeah.
Wait, it can.
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Hi, we're your friends who get super excited about the holidays.
We sure are, or this isn't the ugliest holiday sweater ever.
People think we're happy because we love peppermint lattes.
Or catching snowflakes on our tongues.
But really, it's because it's Holiday Millionaire Raffle season. It's your best odds to win $1 million.
That's dollars, not twinkling lights, but that would be great too.
Play the Kansas Lottery Holiday Millionaire Raffle. Get excited.
See kslottery.com for details.
The high school football playoffs continue on ESPN Wichita at 92.3 FM in the high school game of the week presented by Commerce Bank. The number 1 seed, Cathan Crusaders, look to take down the defending 4A state champion Andover Central Jaguars in the high school game of the week on Friday, November 7th. Coverage begins at 6:45 on the ESPN Wichita YouTube page for the high school game of the week presented by Commerce Bank.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Blockbuster deals on this NFL trade deadline day with 2 Jets defensive stars on the move. Defensive tackle Quinn Williams and cornerback Sauce Gardner. Williams going to the Cowboys for a 2026 second-round pick, 2027 first-rounder, and defensive tackle Maisie Smith. Gardner heading to the Colts for 2 first-round picks, one in 2026, another in 2027, plus receiver A.D. Mitchell. The trades, among those allowing the Jets to stockpile draft picks, which is a positive, explains our Harry Douglas.
Reset the entire organization, build it from the ground up, and I thought it was desperately needed. Don't go on and play along and say, oh, man, we can scrap up pieces here and there. No, we have to get rid of some guys in order to get to where we feel like we need to be to have a change in culture and a change amongst this entire organization.
Moves made by Seattle and Jacksonville, both dealing with banged-up receiver rooms. Seattle acquired Rashid Shaheed from the Saints for 4th and 6th round picks in 2026. Jacoby Myers going from the Raiders to the Jaguars for 2026 4th and 6th round picks.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, the Giants sit at 2-7 for the 3rd straight season. Jackson Dart has looked good, but is it enough to save Brian Daboll's job? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
It's just a public service announcement sponsored by Just Blaze and the good folks at Rockefeller Records.
Fellow Americans, it is with the utmost pride and sincerity that I present this recording as a living testament and recollection of history in the making during our generation.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho, H to the OV. I used to move snowflakes by the OZ.
All right, we're ready to rock and roll. It is hour number 2 here on the Pulse on Wichita Sports Leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM, streaming in a couple different places. We are video streaming on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Check us out on your favorite smart speaker. If you got one, tell it to tune into ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM or KKGQ. You can also stream on ESPNWichita.com or download the ESPN Wichita app. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Pat Strathman. Producing is Jack Johnson. 316-669-4996. That's the hotline number. We gave away lottery tickets, so no chance for you to win those here in hour number 2. Text line was used for the burnt end of the hour trivia question brought to you by Tinker Barbecue. I like to see some more responses from people. I haven't had a chance to go see if any of them are correct, but the 5 cities that Kansas and North Carolina played in the series prior to the showdown in Lawrence. So keep those messages rolling in at 316-247-0923. Check us out on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube. We got it all. Make sure to like and subscribe to all those different places, please, and thank you. Coming up in a little bit, Kansas basketball kicked off the season last night. I should say tipped off the season. Jayhawks dominate Green Bay. We'll reflect on that. We'll have a Take Two Tuesday. Before I get to Taylor, there was a trade at the buzzer. It does not involve the Kansas City Chiefs, however. It involves an AFC West team. It would be the LA Chargers. They pulled off a trade right at the buzzer. Chargers ended up landing offensive lineman Trevor Penning from the Saints. So the Chargers, they did get a deal done right at the horn. I don't know if we are going to see some last-minute things that took place involving the Kansas City Chiefs. That's not usually how it goes. The NFL just tweeted out, pencils down, LOL. That was pretty funny. So it would appear that Brett Veach decided not to make a trade. Didn't go for Breece Hall, Jermaine Johnson. But in all honesty, at this point, wasn't much out there on the table at this stage for the Chiefs, based on what I see. So I guess we can reflect on that more so tomorrow, or we can do that a little bit more here in just a little bit. All right, let's talk about a new season for Wichita State men's basketball. It officially starts tonight, and to talk more about that, let's check in with the guy who covers the Shockers better than anyone else. It is a Tuesday with Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle. He's brought to you by CBD American Shaman Wichita and CBD American Shaman Derby. A location in Wichita at 21st and Rock, the one in Derby at the corner of Baltimore and Market. CBD American Shaman Wichita. Life is better with the feather. I'm sure to Taylor Eldridge, life is better when Wichita State men's basketball is taking place, and the season officially gets underway tonight. Shockers taking on UNC Asheville. Taylor had a chance to do a little bit of a preview for tonight's game. He had 3 keys to look out for tonight. So, Taylor, new season is upon us. Wichita State, UNC Asheville. What are some things that you see ahead of tonight's season opener for Wichita State?
Yeah,
this is a team that's going to bring some unique style to Coke Arena tonight. The coach, Mike Morrell, he is, spent 7 years under Shaka Smart. So not a coincidence. He loves pressure defense. They are going to get up in WSU, 94 feet of pressure. And that's going to challenge this new group of ball handlers, going to really put the onus on them taking care of the ball. It sounds like from what Mills has said about how the scrimmages have gone, he's been pretty happy with limiting turnovers, the ball handling, ball security. That's been a strength so far. Will that continue tonight? Because Asheville is going to play really, really aggressive. They're going to put 2 on the ball in ball screen coverages. They're going to try to force it out of the WSU ball handler's hands and make other people try to make a play. So that's going to be interesting to see. The downside for Asheville is that, they spend so much time trying to force turnovers, chase blocks, chase the highlight reel plays. That leaves them vulnerable underneath the basket. And they've been a really poor defensive rebounding team. That's just kind of the thing that they give up. They're going to make that gamble that we can get more steals to counteract, those offensive rebound putbacks. And that's going to be the thing where Wichita State really needs to hammer that home tonight. They're going to have the size advantage. Offensive rebounding has been a strength in the lead up to this season. This is a matchup they should really, really exploit on the glass with second chance points. And then the third point, too, would be how they're going to guard the Asheville star player, Toya Solomon, preseason Big South Player of the Year. He's at the 5 spot, 6'9", pretty mobile, though. He's going to be a real weapon. Doesn't shoot threes, but he does have some bounce to him. He has some handle. He can catch it on the perimeter and take bigger, slow-footed centers off the dribble. And that's going to be interesting to see how WSU matches up with him because they played some pretty big dudes at the 5. Do you match up and hope that size disrupts him around the rim? Or do you put someone like Jared Valencia, the more versatile floor man, really good defender himself, you put him on Solomon and then try to hide the big guy on Asheville's 4. So I'll be curious to see how Paul Mills does that. Who guards Solomon? Does he do a lot of ball screen offense tonight and put his guards at risk of getting trapped? Those are some of the things I'll be watching for tonight.
Well, what exactly do you want to see from Wichita State? Not necessarily just to get after UNC Asheville, but more so from a Wichita State perspective. What exactly do you want to see from the Shockers tonight?
Yeah, I think they just have to, for me, I would want to see them exploit their size, really dominate the glass. We saw them do that against Drake, create a lot of second chance opportunities. It sounds like Mills said they did that again against Santa Clara, but he was a little underwhelmed by how well they finished, those second chance opportunities. And then also, shooting at the foul line sounds like it's been a real problem for WSU. And a lot of that probably has to do with who's getting fouled. When you get so many offensive rebounds, a good chance a large number of those free throws are going to the big guys. And, historically, big guys have a little harder time making free throws than the guards. So can Wichita State exploit its size, get the offensive rebounds, back up the second chance points, and then at the foul line, what's that going to look like? It sounds like it has not gone well so far in those scrimmages, but Mills did say that he was encouraged recently by the free throw shooting in practice. Of course, it's a whole nother ball game. Once you turn the lights on, you put the fans in the stands, players react differently. So, yeah, I think that's just something that they can control. Doesn't matter if shots are going in or not. You can always crash the glass, show good effort there. This WSU is the bigger team. They're the deeper team. I think that's something that they need to exploit tonight against Asheville.
Tuesday with Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle. He's brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Wichita Shockers officially tip off the season tonight inside Charles Koch Arena, squaring off with UNC Asheville. you had a chance to be at Wichita State Basketball Media Day last week. You talked to numerous players. I had a chance to talk to a few of them. And I did have to ask about the one guy that, people need to be looking out for. And Noah Hill was the one that I kept hearing about from all those different players. I'm not sure if you had a chance to talk to them about kind of a sleeper, but if you did, was Noah Hill a consistent name that you heard last week from the players?
Yeah, more so from the coaches, kind of unprompted too. Mills and Kenton Paulino on his podcast appearance on the Roundhouse, the good podcast done by Paul Thorntrop. He went on to rave about Noah Hill and just how advanced he is for a true freshman. You think it's pretty rare for true freshmen at the center position to play right away, and especially when you're 6'7", undersized at the big man spot. That just had like redshirt season written all over it. Everything I've heard is that he has continued to impress. He has held his own physically against those two veterans that he's going up against every single day, and Will Berg, redshirt junior, and Emmanuel Okorafor, a senior. So both those are 4-year guys that have been doing this for a long time. They have a lot of inches and pounds on him. And Noah Hill has really elevated himself and, risen to the challenge, I would say. So I don't think he's going to be playing, 15, 20 minutes in a game.
Sure.
But yeah, absolutely. I think he can be part of the rotation and give this team, a 3-man rotation at center and maybe do a spell in the first half, early in the second half, see where it goes from there, how he looks. But yeah, that's way better than what you would have expected, coming into the season where, like I said, you just kind of write him off as a redshirt. He'll play next year. But yeah, it sounds like he's really forcing the case and really, really impressing in practice because, he's 6'7", he can bang, really, really athletic. I think that's the thing that makes him stand out against those other two. They're a little bit bigger, a little slower footed. Noah's really, really athletic. He can go up and get it. You saw it in the Drake scrimmage when Mills threw him into the fire. He responded. I think he had like 9 rebounds in like 10 minutes. So like he was just a rebound magnet. He can go up and get it. He can just present a different kind of threat for WSU at the 5. So yeah, I think absolutely Noah Hill is probably going to be that surprise player that no one saw coming, back 2-3 months ago.
Yeah, everyone was. I was amazed the amount of people that kept bringing up his name. I was like, okay, well, he's getting a lot of talk, so that's very intriguing. What else did you learn last week at Wichita State Basketball Media Day? Anything crazy? Anything else stand out to you while talking to individuals last week?
No, not really. I was just curious on like what their expectations were, and yeah, they made it pretty clear they want to win a conference championship. They believe that they can, and with 12 newcomers, it's basically a brand new team. So I was just curious, what do they want to get done this year? And, it's kind of an interesting time in the Paul Mills era, entering year 3. In the past, this would be the year where it's okay, we need to see the leap, the jump. But that was in the old days. That was when you were keeping, the bulk of your roster and building something and keeping guys for 3 and 4 years. Now it's like a brand new roster year to year. And I asked them that, like, what's the fair expectation in today's environment for a year 3 coach? And he's like, I don't really know. He doesn't really think of it like that, which is fair. He just said that he's thinking of it as building, championship habits every single day. He doesn't really, his focus isn't on like the day to day, like winning each game. Obviously he wants to win every game, but like the bigger focus is like, can we win a championship here? Are we doing the things necessary to win a championship? And according to him, he really likes this group. He likes the personnel, obviously the skill set, but also who they are as people. He raved about, how good they've been this so far, since they arrived in June. No off-season, off-the-court problems, anything like that. And he's always said, good people make good players. He's confident they have a lot of good people on this team. And I think he's eager to see, how that translates to the court. I do think that the pieces fit better this year than they had the first 2 years, in my opinion, just from looking, on the outside. I do think they had the best equipped roster to compete in the American. So we'll see if they take that jump. I think fans are going to expect, that leap, even if it's maybe not the most fair. I do think fans, expect, they're craving a 20-win season, getting close to the NCAA tournament, competing for an American championship. I think all those things the fan base is really, really hungry for. We'll see if this team can deliver. But like I said, I do like the pieces on this year's team and how they fit together more than they did those first 2 years.
Okay. Well, it's something I kept hearing about last week too with Kenyon and Mike Gray, just talking about the spacing. Kenyon said that this is the most amount of space that he's had since he's been in college, and I think it says a lot. Now, of course, it's easy to say that when you're practicing. When you actually get things going, especially once you get to American Conference play, that's when things are probably going to change just a little bit. So I'm curious to see how it looks tonight there at Charles Koch Arena. Taylor Aldridge for the Wichita Eagle joining us here on The Pulse. He's brought to you by CBD American Shaman Wichita. Taylor, I know you have opinions on jerseys. Saw that there was a jersey release for Wichita State, now with the Nike swoosh. You've been around, you've been a part of Wichita for a long, long time now. I'm sure it probably gave you some little flashbacks to back in the day when they rocked the swoosh.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty clear upgrade. I just put up a tweet, like side-by-side comparisons on what the Under Armour ones look like and what these new Nike ones look like. And some fans were feeling a little anxious about the delays in the shipping. They didn't know if those jerseys would be here in time. Those only grew yesterday when WSU didn't put out any photos or videos, but it turns out they're just waiting for the game day. So I'm told they arrived, just in the nick of time. The black and yellow ones are also, in the works. They will be here. Obviously, WSU doesn't play away from home for another 2 weeks, so there's some time there for them to still work. But if you look at the side-by-side comparison, I think it's a pretty clear upgrade. The Nike one just looks more crisp, more professional. The trim looks really, really nice. I think it pops. And I think this is why you go back to Nike. They just have a way of making stuff look better.
Yeah, no doubt. Getting a chance to see it last night for Wichita State women's basketball. Had a chance to see their white unis. They wore the grays last week in the exhibition against the Newman Jets. And it's like, oh, look at the swoosh again. It looks a little bit different, to say the least. I don't know if you had a chance to really watch much yesterday for Wichita State women's basketball, Taylor, but a whole new squad this year for Terry Nooner. It appears to be more athletic. Guess we'll see if that translates to more wins here this year for Wichita State women's basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I saw they, pretty much a brand new team. They have a couple key returners back, but yeah, I mean, that's what you want to do in the first game of the season. Obviously, an outmatched opponent, but they did what they're supposed to do. They really took it to them there in that first half and ran up the score, and that's what you want to see. Build some good habits early and get some confidence. I think that was the goal for that first game. So yeah, I mean, Terry Nooner, year 3, game 1 started out pretty well, and I mean, I think they're trending in the right direction. I'm excited to see Jayla Harding. That's the Wichita kid. They seem like they always bring back the Wichita kid to play for this team. She is a sharpshooter. Mm-hmm. Everyone's known that about her since the Southeast days back in the City League, and she showed it last night. I think she had 5 threes.
Yep.
She's going to be an exciting one to watch, I think.
Yeah, she knocked down 5.
Her brother, Jarek, he's a hooper too. He's having a really good overseas season for a career. So it runs in the family there. They are some good basketball players in the Harding family.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm getting old because I remember watching Jarek in high school when Southeast played at the Topeka Invitational Tournament. And to see Jayla, it's like, oh, man, I remember your brother back in the day. And I had a chance to ask her, too. hey, how much does he motivate you? And she nearly broke down because I think Jarek's a very big inspiration there for Jayla Harding. All right, I got to ask you about high school football. We move forward here for playoffs. Junction City in Derby taking place on Friday in Junction City, Northwest and Washburn Rural. They're at the 6A level, 5A level. You have Salina Central and Goddard coming up on Friday. I know Bishop Carroll's looking to pull off the upset of one of the top teams in the state in Great Bend. Cape Bend matches up with Andover Central this week. You have Wellington and Rose Hill, which I think could be a good one. Mulvane and Augusta, I think, could be a good game as well at the 4A level. And we all know at the 3A level, Andell is still very much Andell. Andell looking rather impressive. So your thoughts on what you see for high school football coming up on Friday? I think you're probably paying attention to Junction City and Derby up there in Junction City.
Yeah, that's a pretty big swing game for sure. I think everyone would love to see that Derby Northwest matchup next week. So they got to take care of business against, those Centennial teams. Northwest plays Waterloo and Derby at Junction City. So that would be the desired matchup for sure. And then, I think everyone would love to see Mays and Manhattan matchup too. Obviously, those are two heavy favorites in their games. So, in 6A, that's kind of the scene. 5A, Bishop Carroll has had an incredible late season surge. They're going on the road, top team in 5A. Some could argue definitely in the West, Great Bend. How can Carroll keep that a game? That's something I'll be keeping an eye on. In 4A, you talked about Rose Hill. What another late season resurgence. They are playing really good football right now. They might actually be the favorite, in that matchup against Wellington. And then Augusta, I think Augusta deserves a big shout out. Dawson Elliott, that's a program that has lost, a lot recently. They lost a lot of heartbreakers this season, really close games, and they have finally turned it on. Those close losses are turning into major wins. They just knocked off McPherson. Now going on the road, really talented Mulvane team. That's going to be a tough one, but for Augusta to win a playoff game, to make it to round 2, just an incredible job by that coaching staff and those kids out there. I think they're fired up. And like you said, 3A, it's the Andell show. Until somebody even gets close to them, they're going to be the heavy favorite.
All right, Taylor, it's always great to have you on, and especially now that Wichita State men's basketball is officially here. Looking forward to recapping it all next week. Appreciate you. Enjoyed the night.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle, presented to you by CBD American Shaman Wichita. Always good to have Taylor Eldridge on the program. Wichita State and UNC Asheville tonight. Of course, you can catch it on the Plus. I'm curious to see what takes place tonight there for Wichita State men's basketball. Taking on UNC Asheville, tip-off scheduled for 6:30. I'll be locked in as soon as I get home. I'll be watching the game as much as possible. Don't have a chance to get there. Don't have a chance to go out and do much anymore in terms of this stuff because of 2 kids at home now. So that changes a little bit. But we'll be watching UNC Asheville and Wichita State. After the media day last week, you listen to the players, and all of them are very excited about this year. Kenyon Giles really talking about the space that they have. He is going to be a shot-first type of player. We see Mike Gray with 40% next to his name in terms of being a three-point shooter. Kenyon Giles called him a sniper last week. Noah Hill is getting a lot of play from the players and coaches, which I think that was a pleasant surprise for a lot of people with this team. I'll be curious to see how they go about using Will Berg as well. Being 7'2", how do they use him? Because Kenyon Giles told me that he could be one of those guys that can pick and pop. He can go out there and stroke it a little bit too, which is why I think I look at this team and I'm just curious to see what exactly they all do. Because last year you have a guy like Quincy Ballard around the rim who can finish at a 75% clip around the rim, being so reliable there with his 7-foot frame. You want that for Will Berg, but maybe he's a different type of player for Wichita State. So I'm curious to see how they go about using their size tonight. I want to see what the guard play looks like. Can they truly go out there and knock down shots as well? Want to see all those things for Wichita State and UNC Asheville, which is coming up tonight at 6:30 inside Charles Koch Arena. If you don't want to watch it, head there. Go watch the game. They have all sorts of options for you. So go check out Wichita State tonight. And I didn't get a chance to mention anything about this yesterday, but Wichita State women's basketball, they did dominate in the season opener against Lincoln, 96-42 being the final score. Shockers outscored Lincoln 30-7 in the second quarter to build that comfortable lead. They go on to dominate 96-42. They were in line to potentially break a record for largest margin of victory, but they ended up cooling off a little bit. But they shot the ball well last night, both overall from the field and from beyond the arc. Wichita State women shot 57% from the floor, 8 of 20 from deep. And it wasn't just all from Jayla Harding, who is really the person who you have to look out for. She knocked down 5 threes, but Taya Davis made one, Kylie Ortiz made a couple, and Wichita State was able to force a staggering 31 turnovers, cashing in the other way with 39 points off those miscues, 21 steals for Wichita State. 2 players had 4. That was Taya Davis and Abby Cater. I think this Wichita State team is just one game, but this women's basketball team appears to be more athletic and more in sync. So can't wait to see more. They'll play on Thursday against Northwestern State at 6 o'clock. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll take a look back at the NFL trade deadline. Did we see anything take place in favor of the Chiefs? I'm not seeing anything breaking, but we will talk about that just real briefly. And also revisit Kansas and Green Bay. Jayhawks dominate. We will recap what we saw last night there inside Allen Fieldhouse. All that coming your way next on The Pulse.
The heartbeat of Wichita sports fans. The Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
When storms hit, you need more than just a roofer. You need the biggest and most reliable name in the Midwest, Shamrock Roofing. Shamrock Roofing has grown into the largest roofing company in the region, with local crews right here to serve you. For nearly 50 years, we've proven our strength, our size, and our promise to you to be here for every repair and roof replacement. And every roof is backed by our lifetime craftsmanship warranty. One call does it all. Visit shamrockroofer.com.
Dirty exterior? Don't scrub it. Wet it and forget it. Wet and Forget, the easy outdoor cleaner. Wet and Forget works overtime with Mother Nature to eliminate unsightly black and green stains on the exterior of your home with no scrubbing, power washing, or bleach. Use Wet and Forget on all your outdoor surfaces, including decks, siding, roofs, and patios. Wet and Forget's available in a concentrate or extreme reach hose-in. Purchase Wet and Forget in store or online at Lowe's, Menards, Ace, or Walmart.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. On that heavy shelf you hung yesterday. Turns out you didn't use enough anchors. Wait, you didn't use any anchors? Now you've got an open floor plan. Trendy. And if you have the wrong home insurance, you could need a wall of money to fix this. So get home insurance with Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
And we are all tied up in the bottom of the ninth. Bases loaded. Electric in here. Electric. It all comes down to this pitch. You throw the fastball here. But it looks like Brock is walking off the field and is leaving the stadium. What is going on here?
I'm getting word that he left to get a taco.
When you need a taco, you need a taco. Introducing the new Cantina Crispy Melt Taco, only from Taco Bell. At participating U.S. locations for a limited time only.
Chiefs Kingdom, want to light up your fan cave? Bud Light and ESPN Wichita are teaming up to give away a Chiefs Bud Light neon sign for your football cave. Pay close attention to the Shane Dennis Show in the Pulse with Pat Strathman, and when you hear this sounder, text 316-247-0923 for your chance to win. It's brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Catch the best Chiefs coverage only on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Boy, today has gone by so fast. My goodness gracious. It has been so fast today. Everything has just been a blur. That's because of the NFL trade deadline, which has officially come and gone. And we're set to briefly talk about that. Also, a chance to give you tickets to come to a movie night with us. We'll tell you about that here in a little bit. I want to tell you about Twin Peaks, though. The Lodge, we're going to be there out west on Friday, so we'll be at Ridge and Taft. Hope you can come out and join us. Should be a lot of fun. There is also a Twin Peaks out east at 21st and Rock. They just got done with their Halloween costume party. We all know that when you go to the Lodge during the Halloween costume party, it's pretty insane. And they have king-size specials all throughout the week. While they have happy hour going on right now, you can always capitalize on a special when it comes to happy hour, because happy hour at Twin Peaks is the best. No one in town can top it. Twin Peaks also has great food. In addition to that drink menu, the atmosphere is truly second to none. And when it is 70-some degrees outside, I would recommend hitting up the patio. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, and scenic views. 2 locations in Wichita. One out west at Ridge and Taft, and the one out east at 21st and Rock. Okay. So, the Kansas Jayhawks. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. Just a little bit. NFL trade deadline. And we can really dive deep into it tomorrow. But the trade deadline is over, and the Kansas City Chiefs did not make a trade. The Kansas City Chiefs did not make a trade. The Miami Dolphins, I forgot about them having Bradley Chubb because there was an expectation that Bradley Chubb was going to be traded, but the Miami Dolphins decided not to trade Bradley Chubb. They also decided not to trade Jalen Waddle. The Jets had a fire sale, but they didn't give away Breece Hall, nor did they give away Jermaine Johnson. According to NFL insiders, they say that the Jets did not get the deals that were good enough to them. Makes me think that maybe teams lowballed them, probably thinking a 5th-round pick, a 6th-round pick was going to be good enough for Breece Hall. At least that's what I'm assuming. So the Jets, they feel okay, and I don't blame them. You end up trading Sauce Gardner for 2 firsts to the Colts, and I know Chance, who's the Colts fan, Chance I don't think was too pleased because it required 2 firsts, but that defensive backfield, if the Colts can figure it out, that front 7 to go with that defensive backfield, they're going to be pretty damn good from a defensive standpoint. So I don't blame the Colts going all in on it. I mean, why not? You're the Colts. You haven't been in this position. I know you just got down losing to the Steelers, but you can go out there and definitely still be a team that could very much go on to win the Super Bowl. It's a little bit weaker on the AFC side, so why not go for it? So the Colts are definitely going for it. You have pass rushers be traded. You have Quinnen Williams going to the Dallas Cowboys. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they do not land anyone up front for the defensive line, and they don't get Breece Hall. And I know there are a couple of people that texted that were less than thrilled. Oh, it's just status quo there for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 5-4. They're outside looking in. That's what Jeff wanted to point out. You're right. They are outside looking in. But I think the reality is you don't want to overreact to losing to the Buffalo Bills, and probably don't want to overreact to the losses that you had early in the year when you didn't have Rashee Rice as well. I'm assuming that's probably the logic there for Brett Veach. But I'm not going to speak for him because I don't know what Brett Veach truly thinks about. Maybe 5-4. Heck, maybe if they were 8-1, maybe he feels like that they could do a little bit more and go all in, if you will. Maybe 5-4 wasn't good enough for him as well. I don't know. No idea. But we can reflect a little bit more about it tomorrow. Trade deadline officially has passed, and the Chiefs did not do anything. Very, very quiet. So let's talk about the Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas yesterday officially tipped off the new season. Darren Peterson scored 21 points in 22 minutes. That's what you call efficiency. Number 19, Kansas lit up Green Bay 94-51. Doug Gottlieb, who's in charge of Green Bay now, the student section chanting shorts on backwards. That was quite funny. I know that was something that Brian Haney and I talked about last week, and I can't wait to ask him a little bit more about that, although I need to get with him because who knows when he's going to go to Chapel Hill for that game on Friday for Kansas and North Carolina. Flory Badunga led all scorers with a career-high 23 points on 9 of 11 shooting. He was 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Melvin Council Jr. added 10 for Kansas. Jayhawks were 57% from the field. Green Bay, the one dude that they have, Marcus All, he ended up scoring 17, but Green Bay clearly not enough talent, held to just 29% from the field, just 8 of 31 from deep. Kansas was 10 of 27 from beyond the arc. Kansas from deep in the first half was 3 of 14, but the second half was encouraging because Kansas went 7 of 13 from beyond the arc to end up at 37% overall from deep for the entire game. 18 of 24 from the free throw line, 11 of 12 at the line in the first half, 58% from the line in half number 2, which is less than stellar. But Flory Badunga with 23 points, Darren Peterson with the 21. I think I was most impressed just with Darren Peterson's ability to just share the rock and hooking up with Badunga. So I really like that for Peterson because as much as we hear about his ability to shoot and score, I mean, heck, Doug Gottlieb says it's the closest thing to Kobe he's ever seen. I'm going to go ahead and just pump the brakes on that a little bit because it's one game. Green Bay is not that great of a basketball team. Heck, talking to Chance and talking with Shane, and I'm sure Jack probably also took the 28.5 points that Kansas was given in this basketball game. I was talking to Shane about that today. What if the line was set at 35.5? He goes, I probably would have taken Green Bay. Well, about 34.5. And I think he said up to like 32.5 or something like that. That's how confident Shane really was in Kansas getting a dominating win last night. But I think I was encouraged just watching Darren Peterson share the rock a little bit more. I thought that he was able to move the basketball. Him and Flory seemed to have a nice little two-man game. And that's the thing about Darren Peterson. We know about his ability to be a scorer, but I want to see how he does in other areas because it can't just be the DP show. Although I will say, though, I don't think we've ever seen Bill Self give the green light to a freshman like this ever before. And that maybe says a lot about Bill Self in how much he loves Darren Peterson. Flory Badunga didn't look all that great in the exhibition games that we saw for Kansas, including for Hays State. But 9 of 11 from the floor will allow people to calm down a little bit on Flory as he ended up with a career best 23 points. Trey White with 9 points. Cole Rosario, it's still early, but right now he hasn't been consistent enough. Just 2 of 7 from the field, 1 of 6 from beyond the arc. I'm still curious to see the pieces around DP. So you knock down 3 threes, and you got a 3 from a bunch of other individuals as well, but guys who are probably not going to see the floor all that much. They knocked down a couple of threes, but really when you look at the big players there, you have Darren Peterson, 3 of 7 from deep. Trey White went 1 of 3. Cole Rosario was 1 of 6. Bryson Tiller knocked down a 3 in 60 minutes of play. Jaden Dawson took 5 3-point tries, and he was just 1 of 5. He played in 11 minutes. I just have a feeling with Jaden Dawson, he's still getting back in the swing of things after being a little bit limited because of the injury that he had. Amarco Jackson, 17 minutes logged, 0 for 1 for the field. Seems like Amarco Jackson is still the same Amarco Jackson that we've seen before. Hopefully he'll turn a quarter for Kansas, as the Jayhawks could probably use a little bit more help there when it comes to that. But I'm curious to see about the players around DP. Can they be consistent enough of a shooting team outside of Darren Peterson? Because they're going to have to. Because I think teams are just going to go, well, let's go ahead and just do a box and one on Darren Peterson. Just do a box and one. I don't know how many teams are really going to go junk, because who knows? Maybe junk defense just doesn't work anymore for the most part. Maybe you don't go to that anymore. But I wouldn't be surprised if teams just say, all right, boxing one, we'll just put the one guy on DP and we'll have everyone around Flory Badunga, let everyone else shoot. Until they become consistent shooters, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more junk defenses like that for teams out there, especially in the Big 12 Conference when you're just trying to get a win. But I'm confident that Cole Rosario is going to pick things up. I think everything's just going so fast for him right now that he is having a tough time adjusting. So you hope that he stumbles early, finds his balance, and then becomes a factor for this Kansas basketball team. It's just one game. Green Bay is awful. I don't think we want to sit here and say Kansas is going to go on to win a national championship. I don't think a lot of people realize that Kansas played Green Bay last night because of the fact that Kansas, North Carolina is coming up on Friday in Chapel Hill. And that's what everyone is focusing on. Can Kansas get that big-time win with a very young guy in Darren Peterson on the road? I think everyone's curious about that. But Kansas dominates 94-51. Green Bay's not very good. Doug Gottlieb, though, said it was a tremendous experience. Calls Darren Peterson Kobe Bryant, basically. And I'm sure a lot of Kansas fans are all sorts of pumped up hearing something like that. Jack, it's one game. I'm sure you probably didn't learn much about the Kansas Jayhawks last night, or maybe you did. I don't know. I think Aaron Peterson probably stood out to you, just like for everyone. 21 points in 22 minutes. Yeah, that will do. That's pretty darn impressive. But I look at the other pieces, and maybe there's still room for improvement, but it's still early. It's one game. So what you got for Kansas and Green Bay that took place yesterday?
Well, I believe that this is a team that is just night and day different from last year's squad. Not so much in talent, I would say, but their style of play. Last year's team, there's a clear emphasis of you play through Hunter Dickinson. You're a little bit slower defensively. You've got more shot makers for sure. You have Zeke Mayo out there. You thought Rylan Griffin was going to be a shot maker. You thought AJ Storr was going to be as well. Whereas this group, they very much seem to care more about the defensive side of things than offensively. I mean, I don't believe this is going to be a team that is going to have 4 to 5 guys in double figures. It's probably going to be, in most of their wins, Darren Peterson scoring anywhere from 20 to 30 points, and then you're going to get 8 to 10 from Melvin Council. You'll get 8 to 10 from Trey White, hopefully anywhere from 12 to 15 from Flory Badunga, and then you're going to be, getting probably around 6, I would say, from Cole Rosario. Now, it could fluctuate. You're hoping that, with all of these freshmen that are getting significant minutes, they're all going to have their games. There's going to be a game where Cole Rosario goes lights out from beyond the arc and he gives you 22 to 25 points, or there'll be a game where Bryson Tiller goes 15 and 12 and, he boosts you to that win, because they're not going to be able to win a championship with Darren Peterson scoring 30 every single night. You're going to need help on other parts of your team out there. But I love the ceiling of what they have here. It's a lot more reassuring, and I don't want to, just, be drooling over this team after one game and beating a program that won 4 games the year before. But last year's team, there was almost this expectation of you have to be the best immediately. You have to be this team being preseason number 1 to go out there and stomp every inferior team by 50. You have to beat Duke. You have to beat Michigan State and that, where with this group being preseason 19 in the country, I'm all right seeing them grow a little bit. If they go into Chapel Hill and compete but lose by 10, it's a totally different feel than what it would have been last year if that team would have gone on the road and gotten smoked by North Carolina, right? Now, that team last year went on the road to Omaha and got smoked by Creighton and then got smoked by Mizzou. So that really didn't mean much, but they started the year, I want to say 7-0 or 8-0 and had multiple big-time wins. This group, there's a chance that they could be anywhere from 8-3 or maybe 9-4 early on in the year. Might be 22 or 23 in the country, and you don't feel like they're a championship level team. But the ceiling hopefully can be by February or March all these freshmen that are playing meaningful minutes outside of Darren Peterson, because you know he's going to be great when it's all said and done. But the Cole Rosarios of the world, the Bryson Tillers of the world, you can kind of call Jamari McDowell a younger guy that's going to develop. Elmarco Jackson, same thing. They get those meaningful experiences in November and December. Even in some of those losses, you need to do what you haven't done the last 2 years, which is be playing your best basketball in February and in March. And I feel this team can get there, and it's going to start on the defensive side of the floor. This could be one of his best defensive teams because you got a center that can guard beyond the three-point line. He can defend some guards out there as well, and that's exciting for sure. But there will be some spurts and some droughts where they don't score at all. And if Darren Peterson has an off night, where is that scoring going to come from? I'm not sure they have somebody on the team that can be that next go-to.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, I just saw this from social media. This is coming from Connor Hughes on the Jets final drive stream. Said that the Chiefs offered a 4th-round pick for Breece Hall. Jets declined. Looking for a 3rd. Just chew on that for a little bit. And we can save that for tomorrow here on the show. Because right now we got to take a break. And before we take a break, I want to give you a chance to win a pair of tickets to come to our ESPN Wichita movie night. We will be at Boulevard Theaters at Old Town on Thursday next week. Not this Thursday, Thursday, November 13th. We will be having an ESPN Wichita movie night. The Running Man with Glenn Powell is going to be out next weekend. We'll give you a sneak peek for free at 7:30. We will watch the film at Boulevard Theaters at Old Town. We'll have some trivia, therefore resulting into some giveaways. If you would like to go and watch The Running Man with us next Thursday at 7:30, text the word running to 316-247-0923. Text the word running to 316-247-0923 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see The Running Man with Glenn Powell next Thursday at 7:30 at Boulevard Theaters at Old Town. It is a rated R film, so keep that in mind in case you care about that. Just want to throw that out there. But I think it should be a great night. The trailer looks amazing. A lot of people have already registered to win the Running Man movie tickets. So if you want to come watch with us, we'll be in a renovated theater there at Boulevard Theaters at Old Town. It should be kick butt. I can't wait. Should be a lot of fun. So if you want a pair of tickets to watch The Running Man during the ESPN Wichita movie night next Thursday at 7:30, text the word running to 316-247-0923. That's running, 316-247-0923. When we return, Jack Johnson will pick a couple of topics for a Take Two Tuesday. That's straight ahead on the Pulse.
The heartbeat of Wichita sports fans. The Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
In business, just like in sports, the best defense wins games. That's where Conradi Insurance comes in, delivering elite risk management and employee benefits to companies across the greater Wichita area. As the largest family-owned independent insurance agency in Wichita, we don't just talk the talk, we protect Kansas businesses like they're part of our team. Conradi Insurance, built for business, rooted in community, always playing to win. Visit ConradiInsurance.com to get in the game.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. On that heavy shelf you hung yesterday. Turns out you didn't use enough anchors. Wait, you didn't use any anchors? Now you've got an open floor plan. Trendy. And if you have the wrong home insurance, you could need a wall of money to fix this. So get home insurance with Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Dirty exterior? Don't scrub it. Wet it and forget it. Wet and Forget, the easy outdoor cleaner. Wet and Forget works over time with Mother Nature to eliminate unsightly black and green stains on the exterior of your home with no scrubbing, power washing, or bleach. Use Wet and Forget on all your outdoor surfaces, including decks, siding, roofs, and patios. Wet and Forget's available in a concentrate or extreme reach hose end. Purchase Wet and Forget in store or online at Lowe's, Menards, Ace, or Walmart.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, well, use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
Hey, football fans, break out the Bendito on game day with El Bendito Yankee Tequila. It's an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave from the highlands of Jalisco, Mexico. There's no fake colorings or flavors in their verified additive-free Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. Pick it up at your local store or ask for it at your favorite restaurant or bar. Always win with the undefeated flavor of El Bendito Yankee, the official tequila of game day. And you can go to elbenditoyankee.com to learn more.
Hey, ESPN Wichita listeners, let's officially kick off November at Twin Peaks West. Meet us at the Lodge at Ridge and Taft starting at noon this Friday for some eats, drinks, and scenic views. We're back out west with Shane Dennis Show and The Pulse with Pat Strathman, rolling from noon to 4 this Friday, so come enjoy their scratch-made food, 29-degree drafts, and scenic views this Friday with ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM, Twin Peaks West, Ridge and Taft. Let's celebrate the weekend. We'll see you there.
I hope no one's watching the video stream. I'll just put it at that. Hey, we got Seren Petro with the program coming up next. 6 o'clock, we'll have overtime. We'll actually have some college basketball tonight. Duke and Texas. I'm sure that will get Jack Johnson's blood pumping. Duke. Yeah. Duke basketball. 8:15 is the tip-off there right here on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Appreciate everyone reaching out today. We had a ton of interaction just across the board, and that makes my heart happy. So thanks for joining us. Let's go ahead and just relax a little bit for the trade deadline stuff, and then we can circle back to it tomorrow. We'll recap Wichita State. Wouldn't be surprised if we have audio as well. Chance is typically one that will get the audio. You'll hear from Paul Mills. We'll have players, all that wonderful stuff. So if you are looking for Wichita State coverage, we got it for you. We are Wichita Sports Leader for a reason. We go to games. We get press conference audio. We do those things. That's what we do because we understand that you care about that. So we will have it for you tomorrow, potentially here on the Pulse, maybe even the Shane Dennis Show. Usually what happens, Chance gets the audio, and then we got to figure out who plays what. So we'll figure it out tomorrow together as a station on ESPN Wichita. All right, Jack, Take Two Tuesday. So what do we got for today?
Well, I apologize if it was a confusing question because I know there was a lot.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, the burnt end of the hour trivia question. Let's start with that. Yep. No, good call. Thank you for the reminder.
Where my mind was at.
No, you're good. The trivia question and the answer. Someone asked if we got the 5 cities. I haven't really looked, but I think we did. I think we had one person get it correctly. So go ahead, Jack.
Okay. Yeah, so last year, KU played North Carolina in Lawrence. On Friday, they'll play in Chapel Hill. In the 5 previous meetings, they all were in 5 different cities. What were those 5 cities? New Orleans for the national championship game in 2022, Kansas City in the NCAA tournament in 2013, St. Louis in the Elite Eight in 2012, the Final Four in San Antonio in 2008, and they also played in New York in 2003.
There you go. Okay. Take Two Tuesday now. Go ahead.
Pick your 2 favorite pickups from the NFL trade deadline.
Ooh. I think it's amazing how many people are poo-pooing on the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Quinn Williams thing is great for them. Because if Dak, look at it, look at the league, look at the division. First and foremost, they're 3-5-1, right? I get it, not pretty. Look at the division. Janie Daniels is banged up there for the Commanders. Do you have any faith in Washington as of right now? Probably not, right? You probably don't have any faith. Do you have faith in the Giants as of right now with no Cam Scatterboo? Do you really think that they're going to do much there? And the Philadelphia Eagles, they're 6-2. I get it, but I still think there is a shot there for the Cowboys if Dak Prescott can play at the level he can play. And they got to get better defensively. And then the other one, man, that's the first one that came to my mind. I thought that Quinn Williams was great. I really don't mind the Sauce Gardner move. I know some people are like, 2 firsts, that's a lot, which I understand. The Ravens getting Draymond Jones from Tennessee is probably a good one. I'm looking at the complete list now just to see if I'm missing anything. We'll go with that. I'll go with that. Jalen Phillips to the Eagles, whatever. How many edge rushers do they need? Good gravy. So I'll go ahead and go in that direction. All right, we're done for the day. Thanks so much for listening. Hey, go Shockers tonight. We'll recap it all right here on The Pulse. For Jack Johnson, I'm Pat Strathman saying so long, Wichita. Have fun tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at 2.